All right, folks. Hope you're all doing well. Welcome to another iteration of the Calcio Podcast. Sam Adamo coming at you. I'm joined by the handsome and powerful Nick Gentiletti. We've got friend of the
I'll take
show,
that.
returning guest, Nima Tavallaey Roodsari on the show for the first time on YouTube, for the first time on video. A man who pursued a career in law and rejected it in favor of the illustrious life of journalism. And he is on the show now because he is our favorite Italian football journalist. He is, of course, the host, the co-host and creator of the Italian Football Podcast, who have had a big week, it's fair to say. He's also the founder, the creator of, and I believe you're still chief editor, right, of
chiefnewsletter.com. Yes.
Beautiful. We're very excited to have Nima on the pod. We're going to have a fun little chat. We're bringing back an old segment for the first time on YouTube. We're bringing back the five-a-side segment. Before we get into the action, before we throw it over to Nima, just going to get this out of the way at the top of the show. Announcing this to listeners first because we want you guys to be the first ones to get tickets. We actually have a live show coming up in a month. So Easter weekend on Thursday, the 6th of April, we'll be at the Montreal...
I'll get the venue name.
I believe it's the Performance. What's it called?
I'll get it right now.
The
Very excited for
the Montreal
Very
Performing
excited.
Arts Center and Museum, I believe it's called. It's in Griffintown. In any event, the link to the show, the link to the live show is going to be in the description of the episode on all platforms on YouTube. Check it out. The show will sell out. There are not many tickets on sale. It's only a handful. It's going to be a very intimate setting, but it'll be fun.
The Montreal Art Center and Museum
Thank
on
you.
William.
The Montreal Arts Center and Museum. I'll be doing a live show on April 6th, so come on down if you're a fan of the show, if you're in Montreal, if you're local. Gentiletti will be joining me. It'll be a fun little hang. Announcing it now. I mean, we'll be posting links in the days to come, but friends of ours will want to come. Friends of ours will want to come, so if you...
Is this the show you were talking about yesterday about making inappropriate jokes to nonni during Easter? Is this the one?
No, that's a different one. We can get to that in a sec, but no, this is going to be in the days following that. So it's a big week.
I was gonna say how fitting is it? How fitting is it that in like a sophisticated and smart environment is gonna host this podcast? How poetic is that? That a sophisticated.
That sounds smart. What did you say?
A sophisticated, cultural, intelligent type of venue, like an art museum, is going to be hosting your stupid fucking podcast. Like, how poetic is that?
Well, it'll be part of a semi-pro comedy festival going on. It's called Giggle Fest. There will be a few live shows going on. We are. I think it's fair to say we're the cherry on the sundae, Matt. We're really against the grain compared to the other shows they've got going on. It's gonna be really against
I'm looking
the grain.
forward to it. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun.
So again, it's a small venue.
Videoed. I hope there's able for me.
That's what I told them. It has to be filmed.
It will be. Producer D'Lo will be there. He's not with us today. We had to set this all up by ourselves because D'Lo actually probably tore his ACL. So I didn't ask questions. Oh, he's fine. I mean, he had a doctor's appointment 2 hours before the pod.
Fine.
He could have rushed over here and been here on time, but it's fine. I mean, I didn't want to scare him off
he
too
tore
bad.
his ACL, Sam. Let's, no. He
well,
tore
I mean,
his
we don't
ACL.
know that.
He could not.
We don't know that. I mean, the physio
I don't think he
said
would
it's
lie.
probably a torn
I don't think he would
ACL.
lie about that. Or I mean, it's hard if he turns up next week and everything's fine. I think
that would be a tough scenario. That would be a tough scenario. How do you deal with that? How do you deal with that?
So he'll be there. He'll be putting it all together. It'll be a lot of fun. Again, if you're a listener of the show, you're in Montreal, just buy him now. It's in a few weeks because we are going to have friends that are going to bust our balls and want to come. I'm not sharing it with any friends right now. We're going to just let listeners buy them first. Get a few listener sales, and then we'll probably just pack it in with other friends of the show who listen a little more sporadically. But we want hardcore. If you're listening to this on a random fucking episode in the middle of February, we want you to be the first ones to get it. So check it out. Link will be in bio. Nima Tavallaey, welcome to the show, bro. Welcome back to my favorite Persian uncle. You hate when I call you my Tio Nima, but
no, I
but
don't.
It's kind of
I
what you are.
I don't hate it. I don't hate it at all. I think it's funny. It's a term of endearment. I take it as a compliment.
So, how's life been for you? You've had a hell of a week.
Yeah, it's been incredibly busy the last 2-3 weeks. I'm not complaining, but it's been incredibly busy. Between just work-wise, it's been very, very hectic. Good, it's gone well. but I think people, when you are an independent journalist, when you are working in independent media, you don't have a lot of arms and legs to do all the other stuff that corporate journalists do. And that means you have to do everything yourself, and can get really intense. I mean, between doing a bunch of media appointments for Euronews and other outlets ahead of the Porto game, and then the Bergomi interview that we did for Sempre Inter, which was a big, uh, long form interview with him, and then of course the Joe Tacopina interview, and then on top of all the other episodes of the podcast that we do already, it's been very heavy. It's been a lot, and then of course uh, trying to get the quotes out and have them translated correctly, and which I guess we're going to talk about today, because it's been a crazy day. I've been up since like 8 a.m. trying to deal with how parts of the Italian media managed to turn what is evidently a joke into, oh my God, Donald Trump is buying Inter. He's not buying Inter,
Yeah,
by the way. Just to
it's
put that
crazy.
straight.
But Nima, it's like
But
it's
it was
so
fun.
funny
It was
because
fun.
I'm sure you caught on, like it must have been like about a month ago, when on another podcast the NFL player had made a joke that like the NFL was scripted, and all these mainstream media outlets like ran with it, actually, like if it was serious news. And I mean, I know tons of people that are not even NFL fans that were like talking about it, saying they saw it on Twitter, they saw it on TikTok and whatnot. And it's so funny because like a month later, in a different atmosphere, a different galaxy of sports, if you will, in the Calcio world, that exact same thing happened with you. And I just, it was so funny.
But I got to say though, I mean, it's we put it out there, and we put out the interview last Wednesday, and then we put out the clip of that Trump thing, because it was like a 2 minute fun thing. It was a 45-minute interview. It's free on we put it free on Spotify and iOS and all that stuff. And then we were like, okay, so everybody can listen to it anyway. But this was like a little fun thing, because we thought it was fun. And Joe is, I gotta say, I've interviewed him like 6 7 times, and he's genuinely one of the most fun people to talk to. Like, you can talk to him for hours. I mean, if he wasn't one of the best criminal trial lawyers in the world, I think he would have his own radio show. He's really a really good speaker, and he's fun, and he gets it. He's fun to joke around with. He's doesn't take himself seriously at all. He's very down to earth. And so when I joke with him, now that we've built up a relationship over the years, and I joke with him, he likes that. He thinks it's funny, and he bounces and jokes back. And that's what that whole Donald Trump thing was. It was basically, I heard that, he took on Trump as a client to do some litigation, not related with anything election related, but just in terms of, I think it was some book coming out about him that is that they feel is very that is what's the word? It's the legal word I'm looking for. It's like libelous almost, and he's litigating that pretty much. And so he was saying, so I had to ask him, like, oh well, obviously we're not a political show, but I do want to know what Donald Trump knows about Calcio. Like, that is, I'm
That's a
obviously
great
as a journalist.
question.
I mean, I have to know as a journalist what does Donald Trump know about Calcio? What does Donald Trump know about Italian football? And Joe thinks it's funny, so he's like, yeah, he does. He knows a little bit, and he explains his thing, and he says, he knows a little bit, but golf is obviously his passion. And I'm like, and he's like, yeah, he knows I'm here in Ferrara. He actually called me while I was at the stadium, he says. And I'm going, excuse me, what? I'm sorry, what was that? You're at the stadium at Ferrara in Serie B, and Donald Trump called you? Yeah, exactly. Like,
He said it was like right after a goal too, right? Or something
yeah,
like
exactly.
that?
And that's what he
it's
goes,
so
like,
good.
exactly after a goal. And I'm
So
like,
good.
are you? And I start laughing because it's so funny. And he goes, yeah, I know. It's like, it's 35 seconds after we score a goal. God forbid I enjoy a goal. We score like 4 all year, and then he has to call immediately after we score one. But it's par for the course when you represent the president, as he said. And then I'm like, well, and then I kind of move it forward, and we talk a little bit about, okay, he could still be president when the World Cup comes and all that. And then I go, well, my club, Inter, that I support, I support, they're owned by a Chinese company. Things aren't going too well. He would be very on brand by him to, if you could put in a good word and we can make Inter great again, right? That's a joke, and I laugh, and he spins on that and goes, you know what? I think the only way I could get him to do that is if I say he couldn't win anything with Inter. Then he'd probably buy it, and we're laughing. The whole thing is just a joke, but this is turned into, by some, I should say, and I can name them because their stupid bullshit is out there, and I can say bullshit on this podcast. That's why I like coming on here. But like the Zone, for example, the stuff.
Yeah, you could probably say the N word. I'll just bleep it out. I won't end the call.
No, I'm not gonna.
Like, I don't. Yeah.
No.
Bullshit.
No, I know that you.
Okay.
No, I know you've got that whole like be relaxed vibe here. So, no, but like Corriere dello Sport, who said they're reporting on even the previous clip of Tacopina attacks De Rossi. He did no such thing. He said he's a friend of his, and that if it wasn't for De Rossi, he would have probably let him go sooner because he has faith in the character and the person. That's not the same as them turning it into I didn't sack De Rossi because he's my friend. But I mean, there's some people did that. But I got to say, most outlets did report it honestly, correctly, said it was a joke. And I mean, I've had stories in the past 12 years, several stories go viral all over the world in the biggest outlets, but I've never had every single major media outlet in Italy. And when I say that, I mean every single major media outlet except for Rai have either done a story on it, have either done a social media post on it, or several. From Sport Mediaset to Sky to Gazzetta to Corriere to Tuttosport to Sport Italia, to every single one of them did a story on it. And it's like, that makes it go completely bullshit, crazy, viral. And all these others, like La Cronaca dello Spogliatoio did, Chiamarsi Bomber did it. I mean, it's just everyone had fun with this Donald Trump thing. And it just goes to show how people
how he's still the man. DJT still the man.
It just goes to show. It just goes to show that as much as people in I mean, this is just Italy, and it's a funny thing, of course, and it's for sports, but it does, I think, give an indication to something bigger, and that is that although you see a lot of people in the media claim that they hate Donald Trump, they kind of need him, and they're kind of dependent on him because he drives traffic. And so I don't, when I see people on CNN like that, what's the bald idiot? What's his name? Brian Stelter, when he said that, we didn't cover Trump because it gave us good ratings. Yeah, he did. It was a business decision, and it's like that. Yeah, of course it is. He drives traffic. I mean, on an English speaking on an English speaking football site that barely covers Italian football. They did a story on it, and they told me, I'm not allowed to say which one, but they told me it was the most read story they've had in a week. And
well, so here's the thing. Yeah. So no, I'm sorry. I'll let you finish. It was the most.
No, it's like
they had in a week,
that just goes to yeah, no, it's like that was their most read story, and they just mainly do Italian football doesn't drive traffic like that, and they don't really cover it like that. But it went absolutely crazy viral. It was their most read story. And it just goes to show that, about what we've spoken about when I was on today before, about, what is media and what is journalism, what is social media, and the differences therein. And it just goes to show that sometimes, when there's a business aspect of journalism involved, like it is today, present all the time, it's not, I feel we leave the realms of journalism quite a bit, and we enter into social media and content creation and, influencer realm more. And I think it's important that the listener or the reader knows that.
Right. So I'm going to piggyback on that and say I have no shame in just saying I don't care. I just want to talk about the crazy stuff that's going on. So I would personally, selfishly, because I'm a selfish person, I would love if this actually came to be, because that would just be like, I mean, I could talk about that every week, right? What did he say this week?
If Donald Trump came,
no, but you understand. You understand. I would be the place to go. We missed out on 2 World Cups. We've missed out on real opportunities for growth. We need a little kick in the ass if we're going to stay in this niche. This is kind of what we need right now. And I told you this yesterday, okay? Now, you know Joe Tacopina better than me. I'm going to repeat this joke. I said this to you in private yesterday. But I'm going to expand on this because this is relevant. I really think that we can't have another Donald Trump presidency. Not that it wouldn't be fun, but it would be. I don't think America can handle it. I don't think they could survive another Trump presidency. I think it'd be terrible for the fabric of America. If he ran again, it would be a fucking disaster. It would be
He
a
is
fucking
running
Montreal.
again.
Well, I know
He
he
is
is going to
running
run again,
again.
but if he runs again, but there's a chance it winds up being a clown show. There's a chance that he winds up winning because his base is
It's a
strong.
good chance he winds
But-
up.
I think there's.
But
a
I'm talking
big
about
chance of
I'm
him
talking
winning.
about the nomination. I'm saying
Okay.
we
I
have
think he
to avoid
wins
that
the
at all
nomination.
costs.
I think he
we
wins
have
the
to-
nomination.
Right.
I think
so.
he wins
You know,
the
Takapina.
nomination.
There's a chance. There's a chance he does. So how do we derail that train? How do we derail that train right now?
I don't
See,
want to
so
derail any of it. I don't want to impact it at all. But I don't want to have anything
You know
to do
Joe
with that.
Takapina better than me, though. So I think you need to whisper in his ear and say, Joe, listen, what's better for you here? Do you really want to be the president's lawyer and have to deal with all the shit that's going to come in the next 4 years when he does all the
No,
other
he
shit that he
won't. He
does and
won't
gets
do that.
himself in all the other legal troubles that he's going to get himself into when the media's going to go after him for this or that or for fucking having documents here or there? They're going to go after him for everything they can because it's just what they've shown that they want to do. It's not a
witch
position you
hunt.
want to be in as
It's a
his
witch
lawyer.
hunt, huh, Sam?
What's up?
It's a witch hunt.
Right. Right. So it would be cooler for Joe. I think he can agree. If he's the guy that brought Don J into Italian football, right?
Well,
you
I mean,
gotta
look.
get him to whisper in his ear and somehow make it happen to save the world. To save the world. To save America.
I don't think we would save America or the world if Donald Trump. I mean, I
Imagine
understand
his
what you're
retirement project is owning and operating Inter Milan Football Club. And we have a league. We have a league where two former heads of state, Silvio Berlusconi and Donald
See-
Trump,
See,
the
this is-
American
this is-
Silvio Berlusconi, own clubs
The
simultaneously.
presidential derby or something like that.
No,
We
no.
need that to
This is
happen.
the reason why I want it to happen is got nothing to do with politics because I don't think there's much of a difference between whether it's Biden or Trump. To be perfectly honest with you, I think the differences are greatly exaggerated. But regardless, the reason why I want it to happen is very, very simple. I want a Lega Calcio meeting where Aurelio De Laurentiis, Rocco Comisso, Donald Trump, Silvio Berlusconi, and Claudio Lotito get into an argument. I'm sorry.
Oh
It's
yeah,
just, I
you
want
can make that a Netflix miniseries. You know, like
you know what I mean?
Drive to Survive
Donald
or the
Trump,
golf one.
Donald
That'd be amazing.
Trump would be more of a traffic driver and attention driver for the Serie A than Cristiano Ronaldo ever was. Let me tell you that.
Not even close. Not
like,
even close.
it's-
Donald Trump is the saving grace to reach the levels
Yeah.
of the Premier League again.
No,
And you know- That's
the key.
everyone
That's
would
the
turn
key.
in. Everyone
key.
would tune in.
And he won't. And he won't do
would
it.
tune in.
He will not. He will not do it. He will not do it because he has too much stamina. He still wants to be the president. He's got to take a
Hmm.
page out of Mike Piazza's book, where he just wants to kick it back and run a club into the ground.
No.
I would.
think he
I would
wants to-
respect that a lot more.
I-
You know, if he was
well-
like, you know what, I'm done. I'm done with public life. I just want to recuse myself and go live life in Italy and just run a sport.
I
His
just,
son
you
is a
know-
big football fan too. You know, maybe that's what Barron wants. You imagine Barron being the president of Inter, age like 22 years old.
Barron's like 12, isn't he? Isn't he like, how old is he? Like 15, 16?
Yeah, he's very young.
Yeah,
Well,
he's
I
like
mean,
17
to be
years old,
honest,
yeah.
we kind of do have like a 22-year-old, idiot running Inter right now. So I don't think Barron. I think even if Barron was 13, I think he wouldn't do a worse job than Steven Zhang. That's for damn sure. So
Is like the
I'm
people's
willing to take a
opinion.
chance on Barron.
Is the people's opinion? I'm curious about this, Nima. Is the people's opinion of Steven Zhang really just like rich daddy gave his son like
Yeah.
something to like occupy him with, and like
It wasn't like this. It wasn't like this when the father was involved and he had to answer to him.
Right.
But after the pandemic and everything that's happened with Suning, it doesn't seem like Zhang Jindong, the dad, is too much involved with this side of the business, and he's more involved with the politics and the.
It's a
more
great
the
name,
retail
Zhang
side.
Jingdong.
Yeah.
It's a great name. It's a great name.
and he's more involved with that side of it, and Suning, and more the politics side and the Chinese Communist Party, and which he's part of, and all that stuff. I don't think he's involved in this side of, they completely dismantled their sporting project completely. They wanted to become a global sporting brand. That
they gave up on that real quick. That was like
a
3-year
blitz. After the
blitz.
pandemic. Yeah, it was the pandemic ended that, and also because of the geopolitics of it, where Donald Trump obviously was one of the people who kind of really ramped up the financial war with China, and China quickly pulled out of all these non-essential businesses that they were in. So that's why I was thinking. I just felt that this whole thing of him taking over from a Chinese company is just tick tick tick. It's so on brand. It's and Italy being as dysfunctional as it is and crazy and batshit as it is, he would be a shoo-in. And if he were to come in there and just be Donald Trump and create headlines, obviously I just want to make this clear, there is about 0% chance that he would do this.
I know.
And it's not going to happen. But
it's still going to be the title of this episode.
We could always dream. We could always dream.
But it's still going to be the title of this episode, probably.
Why not?
There's a chance that we might up entitling the episode something along those lines.
I also find it funny how some of the things that Donald Trump was saying and his behaviors, I guess, early on into when he was running for office were like jaw-dropping, like, oh my God, whatever. But would his antics really be that out of the box in Italy? You think, like, within the world of Calcio presidents and stuff? Like it would obviously be crazy, but, like, part of a couple of others, Like,
it's part of the
depends.
That's what I'm thinking, too, a little bit.
I mean, it depends. I mean, if he starts calling Jerry Cardinale, Little Jerry and Crooked Juve and stuff like that. I mean, that would be
amazing.
That would be, or start calling De Laurentiis. I call him Aurelio De Laurentiis. Like, do you know what I mean? Like shit like that. That would be that. If he starts making fun of people's names.
is a lot
Crooked
of clubs.
Crooked Juve. Crooked Juve.
Juventus. They've done a lot of bad things.
People are saying. Like, that's my favorite when he says, people are saying.
You got to give me
like you wouldn't believe, and people are saying is my two favorite Trumpisms.
Okay, so as a former law student, you finished law school, right?
I'm a law graduate in the UK.
So as a fully educated lawyer, I want you to give me a
No, I'm not a lawyer.
case.
I have a little law.
Well, an educated, but you were
I have a law degree. That's it.
Okay, you're educated. Okay.
I'm not a lawyer. You can't call yourself a lawyer until you're part of the bar. I'm not.
Stand down, son.
I almost asked you if you passed the bar, but I didn't want to keep probing you with questions of how far you took it. So I
took a law degree. It's like you have to take a law degree, and then if you want to practice law, you have to take. In the U.S. you do your JD, and then you do pass the state bar exam, whichever state it is. In the UK, I think in Canada as well, you do they call it an LPC or a BVC to become a barrister or a solicitor. And then you have to get a training contract, and I think it's 2 years or something, and then you become a qualified solicitor or barrister. At least in the UK, it's like this. But you can have a law degree and not be a lawyer. That's what I'm trying to say.
Do you think the British Broadcasting Corporation has any lawyers with big black dongs?
I
work for the BBC with a BBC with a BBC.
I should have known this was where you were going with this.
No, but it's you like a Jamaican Brit who works for the Beebs who went to Oxford Law School.
I'm sure they do, because they're all about representation and equality, but I'm not sure about the penis size. I don't think they would hire someone based on penis.
Depends
size.
how many lawyers they have on staff. If they get enough lawyers, there's got to be at least one dong.
It's just statistically.
How many black lawyers do they have to have?
Statistically probable.
Yeah. So, but anyway, as the most legally educated, there's a person with the highest level of education in the legal field. I'm going to defer to you here and ask you to make a legal case on why, or just, it doesn't even have to be a legal case. I mean, a legal case implies invoking actual laws, set out by governments, which isn't what we're dealing with here. It's more to do with like sporting sanctions or
what do you want to ask
me? Well, right. So, but
this is the most long-winded question.
I want you to build a case on why you think it's a bad idea to levy 15-point penalties against clubs in the middle of a season. Now, forget about the fact that you're an Inter.
No, it's got nothing to do
Hardo
with
and objectively, I mean, if this happened to Lecce,
No. This look the 15 point. I mean, we did a long. I don't know if you listened to it. We did.
You did a very good job. I did listen to it.
We did do a full legal breakdown of the plusvalenza gate that you have been penalized for, and
we're not talking about the deferred payment shit that might.
No. I'm talking
further
about the
penalties
only.
I'm talking specifically about the one that was levied in mid-season.
Yeah, the plusvalenza. I personally, and I asked Joe about this as an actual lawyer and one of the best criminal trial lawyers in the world, and he said he agreed with me. He said he doesn't think they've got a legal case to stand on. But caveat, as other lawyers in Italy have said, Italian sports law works differently, meaning, very simply put, in order to be convicted of a crime or wrongdoing, you need two elements. You need the act, which is in Latin term called the actus reus, and then you need the mens rea, which is the mental element, meaning the intent to deceive. In this case, they feel that Italian sports law works like this because of what has been uncovered in Prisma investigation. They feel that it's been proven that there was a mental element to deceive the system, and since the act in and of itself has already been done, but there was and it was not prohibited per se, the mental element takes precedent here. Now you can read the law that way. I think it's bizarre because, again, if there's no regulation, no rule, nothing to stopping you to regulate what the value of a player is, even though Juventus literally took the piss and took it to a level that was completely bizarre, you can't really punish them for that, because there's nothing that's been, again, if there is no violation or ethics code or anything to break, then in this specific instance, then there's no harm done. But they what they did was basically say, well, actually there are other laws and rules in place, such as fedeltà, you have to be honest and you have to be blah 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 and all that stuff. And what Juve did showed that there was an intent to deceive the system.
They invoked those laws which are written down somewhere.
Yeah. No,
because
that
sounds like it's
law. Italian sports law, yeah.
Where's Italian sports law? Where's
sports law? No, they have their own. They govern. It's civil law. They govern themselves.
Okay.
So like it goes under the Italian Olympic Committee, CONI.
So in collective bargaining, okay, if two parties are trying to negotiate, okay, we're back. A little technical difficulty there. My laptop got my laptop was unplugged. It wasn't charging and it died. And I mean, listen, if anything, I won't forget where. I won't forget what I was going to ask you, but just like for the record, I mean, for listeners now who are fucking tuning in, who have liked the last two episodes with D'Lo, who weren't really sure, is this new dynamic really going to work? Is it? I think overall the feedback was good, but in case you aren't sold on it, I mean, I think him not being here, his absence is proving his value to the show right now. His absence is proving how valuable he is.
Quite immensely.
Yeah. Nima, are you sending us a message right now?
No, I was just replying to Uncle Sharma.
Okay.
Sent me another message. Yeah.
Sorry.
I think he is, and I think you should be nice to him. I think you should be nice to him.
Listen, I don't know, Matt. I really hope he's not lying about this ACL thing, because I did scare him off in the first week, because I admitted to him live on the first pod that he did with us that he passed.
I
the
heard
test
you sexually
when
harassed
I met
him.
Yes, I did.
Yeah,
you listened to that.
You yeah, I did, and I couldn't believe that you walked into a cafe.
No, I missed this.
I walked into the cafe.
No, he walked into a cafe
for the first time with a pair of socks in my pants, because I wanted to intimidate him in case he was a little bit too big for his boots, in case he was a little off his rocker. I didn't know who I was dealing with. I don't trust Italians, so I just wanted to big dick him in case. But I told him if he's cool and he passes the test, I'll announce it to him on the pod.
Did he notice?
He claims he didn't, which is which is good. That means I have nothing to worry about, I guess.
How obvious was it?
I thought it was pretty obvious. It was uncomfortable. Yeah, it wasn't good. But I said that's the first test, is just not be mentally dominated by the clear comical appendage that I had attached to my torso. But then the second test was on the pod. I'm gonna announce it to him and see how he copes. So I just threw a wrench in the gears, and I really wanted to fucking just throw a wild card at him and see how he handled it. And he mentally recovered pretty well.
And what was that? What was that?
Well, the wrench in the gears was that I announced to him on the pod, just so you know, you passed the first test, which is I walked into the cafe.
And you wanted to see how he would react.
He took it in stride.
Yes.
He took it in stride. It was very impressive.
Got it.
So it was good. So I don't know, but you know, I think he's
What
enjoying
was the
himself.
question?
But he's not here right now. And he
No,
says he has
and
a
we
torn
miss him.
ACL. And we need him. So, I don't know. The question was, what I was asking you was, I mean, this all feels trivial now, but
No.
no. So in collective bargaining, in when negotiating for a collective bargaining agreement, when engaging in collective bargaining, there's this thing you have to always display, both parties involved, the union, the employer, and that's goodwill, like good faith.
Good faith. Not goodwill.
Yeah, but you do everything in good faith. You show goodwill toward the other party. You're trying to come to a reasonable negotiation. You don't just say no to everything. Is there something like that that's kind of being invoked here? Because that's what it sounds like, where it's like, oh, you know, the spirit of the the spirit of the actions are not in line.
Look,
with...
Italian sports law, because it's not criminal law, is it?
By the way, that's me applying the extent of my university degree and my knowledge on anything professional. So that's what that. That's what that
but
was.
look, it's not criminal law. It's civil law, as it were, and that means that you could never convict someone of a crime, like a crime that has a criminal penalty based on that. You need to have the mens rea and actus reus. You need to have a specific behavior, prohibited, right? Here they're looking at it in the sense that, okay, the behavior, the act itself is not prohibited, but to deceive the system is prohibited.
Yeah, okay.
And so I personally think I don't like it because I think it's judicial activism. I think
you need to make it black and white in the rules on paper. That's what I said. Is you need to make better
there's
rules.
always room for interpretation in the law, but here to me it's like.
But you want to leave as little room for interpretation as possible. You want to make it as clear cut as possible, right?
Yeah,
so that's tricky.
No.
So that sneaky lawyers can't come in and try to circumvent clear.
Yeah, but at the same time, I don't think
intended purpose of laws.
I don't think that's the problem here. For me, again, I think it's you need to have the same. Like, you need to have across the board the same rules and laws and applications of those applied across the board. And if you don't have, and yes, I do think Juventus took the absolute piss to the level to which they did this, but
that's
again,
a given. Yeah.
But still, in order to punish them with 15-point deduction for something that is not expressly forbidden, and then say that, well, in sports law generally, you can't have an intention to deceive the system and to deceive the rules, etc. That to me is a little bit shaky. I think it's a little bit flaky, and this is why I've always maintained throughout all of this that I think Juventus will win this. I think the 15 points will be returned back to Juve.
I'm hearing it's going to happen imminently. I saw that today, but I think the source.
Yeah, I saw that today, and I'm not surprised. I am not surprised by that, and I've been saying this throughout all of this. So you said you're an Interista, blah, blah. Yeah, I am an Inter fan, yeah, but I am also a journalist, and I know my law, and so I've said throughout all this that I just don't see how they can maintain to take away those 15 points from Juve. I just don't see that. I really can't see that because I think they're going to take away more than 15 points from Juve for the other shit. the other stuff.
Right.
No, they will. They will.
Well, I thought so. I thought so until today when I saw that apparently now the same sources that, again, not airtight sources, but the sources that I read, it was Juventus. So whatever.
What the fuck is that?
It's a Montblano's.
Yeah.
He's still around, that
outfit.
guy?
He's still around.
Yeah.
But they were claiming that apparently, they were claiming. I read a tweet from someone citing an article from that platform. So I don't know how airtight this is. That apparently, that's it. Having said that, I'm hearing that it's only going to be 2-3 points they take away for that. So that's which I thought was a big. That's what I thought it was a big
change. They're taking
change.
2-3 points for paying players allegedly off the books Are you like? I know there's Gobby vision and there's
Sam.
Gobby brain and there's Gobby thinking, wishful thinking, but
telling you
this
what I
is another
read.
Gobby galaxy. Like this is what I mean. But then again, we are talking about those guys are just I just can't you can't take them seriously. But no, look, I think the 15 points you're getting back. There's no doubt, and I've said that. Maintained the same. I've said the same thing throughout all of this, and I think the 15 points are coming back. However, I seriously do think that Juventus could be. There is. I'm not saying they're going to be, but I do think there's a risk that Juventus could be relegated because of the other stuff.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying too. That's what I've been.
Because, and I'll tell you this, and I've changed on this a little bit because the more you read into it, the more you see. Okay, payments off the books. I'm not talking about the criminal case. That's a whole other show. I'm talking about the sporting aspect of this, and that is every season you have to show that you pass this this financial test to be able to give a license to compete. Now, if Juventus have shown numbers that have allowed them to pass that license test every year to play in the Serie A the following year, and they would have failed that otherwise, the hammer blow will strike down hard. Now,
what was the alternative
how,
though? Because it was at the beginning of COVID.
The alternative was not to pay off the books. It's very simple.
Manage your wage bill responsibly.
Right.
Yeah, it's
easy answer. Don't commit fraud.
don't turn into Al Capone's bookkeeper. Like, I mean,
we see where Sam's brains at like, all the time.
I mean,
I think the alternative was to never take. I think the alternative was to never take on Ronaldo in the first place.
Well, that's part of it, right? That's
part of it, but it's not. But I wouldn't blame this on Cristiano Ronaldo. Although,
well, it's not his fault, but it's management's fault for thinking they could take him on and overextend themselves.
That was the beginning of the end because Marotta left because of that.
Right.
And you gave the reins over to Fabio Paratici. How'd that work out for you?
Well, it's like it's like every good mob movie. Like every good mob movie has like a golden era, and then at one point, the whole thing just starts crumbling down.
Exactly that.
And the associate who's chronicled in the film falls out with his capo. And that's kind of what happened.
One person dying at a time,
One person dies, and the whole thing just falls apart. After they killed Tommy, it was over. That was when the chickens came home to roost.
No, but seriously, I hope I say that, but that's just a gut feeling. I mean, I'm not entirely sure. When I say they could be, because my thing has been throughout all of this that I think the people in charge, the criminal cases, I think people will be found guilty. I think the players will be suspended because Italian sports law clearly states that everyone is responsible for their taxes being paid, which means the players involved could face suspension and penalties.
That's crazy.
As for the club itself. What it happens to them, I do think there will be penalties. I think there will be, if not relegation, but I do think more than 15 points for the cash for the alleged cash in hand and the other stuff. But not the plusvalenza thing.
Now again, look, I'm the only Juve fan in this trident. Okay, so I'm gonna ask you both. Do you think I'm a little crazy for thinking that there might be an element? Like, again, it doesn't really help when there are quotes that come out from high-ranking members of the FIGC who say, "I don't like Juventus. I'm anti-Juventus. I'm going to make their life a living hell. I'm going to be like a dog with a bone, and I'm not letting go." It's come on.
Listen.
Am I paranoid? Because that's a bad look.
No, I don't think.
When there's
I don't
a legitimate
think you're
grievance
paranoid.
that they might have.
I think that when I saw those comments, and I see that they're doing it publicly.
Yeah.
Is to me was just, well, that just goes to show that
the audacity to be like, I can quote.
It's like shameless. Yeah.
We're gonna get away. We're gonna get away with it. Indecent exposure. And what are you gonna do? Wiggle.
Yeah. No, but the thing is, like, the way I see it is this: that no, you look, him having those opinions is one thing, but they'll have to show that they didn't follow the rules and they didn't apply the laws and all that, because people have biases and they're allowed to have biases and they're open about it. Let's remember that Juventus, a lot of the people in charge of the FIGC currently now are Juve fans or friends of the Agnelli family just as much, and they're open about that too. So it goes both ways. The issue here is I thought it was incredibly dumb. Those statements were just dumb, unnecessary, unhelpful, and it just puts the entire process unnecessarily at risk for no reason. Even though no wrongdoing has been done, the very idea that you have people saying shit like that publicly is just is insane to me.
Dude, it's like
But
politics.
again,
It's straight up like
yeah,
the Dems and the Republicans. They're like, yeah, we got to take these motherfuckers down. I'm
which is
blue
insane,
through
and
and
it
through.
cheapens. Yeah,
Like, what?
yeah,
You know?
and I think it cheapens the legal system. And when it cheapens the legal system, it cheapens the faith and belittles the faith. And when people don't have faith in the legal system, well, that's usually how societies crumble.
Yep.
And that's how things go to hell. And I think that's the problem I have with that kind of commenting. Was just I was so annoyed with that. I was like, why would you say something that incredibly dumb in an ongoing investigation that you know is so sensitive, and you know is going to be, is going to be so questioned regardless. Why don't just
It's like the opposite of what the Art of War says to do. The Art of War says to like reveal nothing. You know, these guys are gloating. You know, it's like the opposite. We'll reveal everything, and we're gonna remind you unnecessarily. So it's.
But
like,
the
be
thing,
quiet
Sam,
about
here
it.
is that we should. Yeah, but the thing is, Sam, that here him saying that doesn't have any material impact on the case because the evidence is already there. The evidence is there for everyone to see, and it'll be made public once the trial is over, and so everyone can make up their decision. So, that issue of it won't be contentious because I think it's quite obvious that I think Juventus will get their 15 points back. I think they will get that back. I think the criminal case against the people involved, that's a different matter. I personally think they will all be convicted of that. Now, what penalty they get is that's different. I think that what will happen is that Juve will get a penalty for this, and more importantly, UEFA will throw the book at them. UEFA will give Juventus probably a transfer ban and probably throw them out of Europe because they're already part of the settlement agreement.
Well, that's
And
cute. I think that's kind of what Juve want at this point, anyway, right? I mean, if it all pans out based on developments in recent weeks.
But I don't. But I mean,
right.
it depends. I mean, the funniest thing in the world, I
Not
think,
wanted.
would be just from someone who likes shithousery and chaos, not because it just helps me professionally, but because I also enjoy it. Is that Juventus winning the Europa League and UEFA having to actively throw out Juve out of the Champions League and create a bigger scandal by doing that would be incredibly funny because that would just turn. I mean, how hilarious would that not be? Because Juve win the Europa League, and they are a guaranteed a spot in the Champions League because they're not going to finish in the top four.
I'm saying they might get into the Champions League and be in the second division next year. That's what I've been saying. I mean, there's a chance that does happen. I mean, if they get relegated to City B because of point penalties, and they win the Europa League and qualify for the Champions League, they would be a team in the second tier that's playing in the Champions League.
Well, I don't think it'll happen. I don't think it'll go down like that. I think UEFA will make sure that it doesn't go down like that. But we'll have to wait and see.
But what if they win the Europa League? I don't think they. I'm not saying they will, but they could.
They can throw them out. No, they can ban them. They will have to go in. They can go in and throw them out.
Yes, but you can't. But they won't ban them on the grounds of the fact that they're in the second division. It would just be for the same reason that they had points deducted, which led to them being in the second division, which might incur UEFA penalties as well.
UEFA will throw. They have their rules and their regulations as well. And if Juventus have violated them whilst on probation, then they will throw the book at Juve. I think that's safe to say. But of course, Juve will appeal that. And all
Didn't
that
the UEFA president have beef with Agnelli? I know Agnelli's not there anymore, but am I making that up, or did he not actually?
No. He was pissed off with him. I mean, Andrea Agnelli threw him overboard, and I mean, they're stabbing people in the front and back, and then there's doing what Agnelli did to Cefalù. Yeah. Which is very, very, with the whole thing with the European Super League. But again, I think, first things first. Let's see what happens with the 15 points. I think Juve are getting those back. Then I think we'll see what happens with the criminal case and the Securities and Exchange Commission, the wages, being paid. All that stuff will come. It's like 3 different cases. And once all that is done, then I think we'll go to the UEFA side of it. And then, of course, then we'll know. But this has to happen over the next 3-4 months because there's a season that needs to.
Well, I guess, Sam, the only way your fantasy would happen it
is my fantasy. I do kind of want it to happen.
is if I guess there would be delays between the the ruling within the league and then UEFA's ruling. I guess that would be like the only way that you're. I don't know. I'm calling it fantasy because I guess getting relegated is pretty catastrophic, but.
It'd be
No,
pretty,
I don't.
it could be
yeah.
fun. It could be a fun relegation.
It could be.
Relegation
it
that
could
features
be.
European football. It'd be great. No, it'd be really cool. It'd be
Cittadella on Monday.
Who would? Okay, wait.
like,
I have a fun
Man City
hypothetical.
on Wednesday.
yeah.
I have a fun hypothetical. Who would play for you? Like, who would you like to see playing for Juve as a Serie B team, as a Serie B club in the Champions League? Like, who realistically would like play for them? You name like one player, 2 players.
I want to take Buffon back in goal because he's a
That'd be
Serie B
insane.
goalkeeper.
That'd be so funny.
That'd be good.
I was thinking the same thing. I
He's
was
down
thinking
at
the
his
same
level
thing.
again. You know, he's a little older.
I was
His joints
thinking
are a
the
little
exact
sore.
same thing.
I would take Buffon back.
That'd be
That'd be the
so
first move.
fun.
That'd be the first order of business.
Chasing another trophy.
Second order of business. Second order of business would be, I want to see how Paul Pogba would do in Serie B. I think we got to get his legs back. You know, he's going to have played like 2 games total this year. I think he needs to stay around for a second season. I think he's got to see his contract out. That could be fun. That could be fun. It's a Champions League
Angel
quality
Di Maria
player.
in the Serie B. Nah. I don't, to be honest, I mean, as I said, I think there's a risk that Juve could go to the Serie B, but I think at the end of the day, I wouldn't be like that. That could happen, yes.
Rabio said he'll stay if they make the
bounce
Champions
back and
League.
forth. Yeah, no, well,
Well,
that's the thing.
what
I
if
mean,
they
I'm
make the
bouncing
Champions
back
League and
forth.
relegate and get relegated to the second tier? Then
You're gonna hold him to it. You're gonna hold him to it.
I would hold him to
Be
it.
the
too.
first one
Be
with the
third
mic.
guy. Yeah, I would say, hey, here's what you said.
Now, look, my
Court of public
point
opinion. Are
is,
you okay with looking like a doofus here? Because you got to stick around right now. Champions League football.
I think
It's all we agreed.
I think
upon
he'll
here. That was
do
all
whatever Veronique tells him to do. To be perfectly honest with him,
That's his mom, right?
His mom,
Yeah.
that's his mom and agent. So I think he'll do whatever Veronique tells him to. But
She's-
look, I think
She would make a.
as
she
I
would
said,
make
I
a
mean,
wife
I
against a
keep
living
bouncing
hell.
back and forth, but I got to be honest with you, and I know, but I feel like at some point I do think that Juve will be hit hard with the points deduction for that other stuff. Whether or not that's enough to get relegated, I don't know. That depends. But I do think that UEFA will give them a transfer ban or even a European Cup ban. That I do think is almost certain.
Juicy
Because
stuff. It's gonna be fun. Fun times ahead. See how
Yeah,
it
it's going to
pans
be
out,
very
man.
entertaining.
We'll see how it pans out, man. You know, I'll be fine. You know, if that happens, I had a good run. You know, I had like my entire half of my childhood seeing them win. You know, I'll be good. I'll just keep going to open mics and talking about crazy North Korean penises and other dumb shit. And
No.
I'll be sane. You know, I'll stick. You know, it won't change my life. You know. It'll just be a different
course
form
not.
of entertainment. I'll just be watching them in a different
still
realm.
talk about the Serie. Yeah, you should still talk about the Serie B. I think Serie B is a very underrated.
Serie B is more fun than
league.
Serie A. I've gotten more into it this year because Juve have been super.
Yeah.
Me and Juve have kind of fallen off a cliff because of the deduction the last few weeks. It's kind of taken the wind out of my sails. And as a fan, Napoli are running away with it. Good for them. But yeah, I mean, my dad's from Cosenza. I've been watching them. They're in a dogfight right now in a relegation dogfight right now. The relegation dogfights in Serie B are incredible because you have like 6 points that separates like 7 positions at all times.
Well, there's 10 points between relegation and a playoff spot to the Serie A. I mean, it's so so short.
I mean, it's the world of it's haves and have-nots. It's insane. Yeah, I'd love to be part of that next year.
I think this
Serie B is
well
entertaining.
side note, not obviously not for Juve, but the Serie C playoff system is so crazy, and it's not something that many people would know about, obviously, because it's a third tier in a football pyramid. But it's so long. And
is it 4 clubs get relegated from Serie B?
I don't know about
and then 4
relegated,
get
but
promoted. Is that what it is? Because there's 3 different. Now here's the thing.
But in the Serie
we have to conspire here and just to try to. We're almost like haggling because Nima looks confused now. Even he doesn't know. He's the expert here.
us.
No,
like we're all like
3
squinting.
get down.
Thinking,
It's three get relegated, and then you have 2 playoff positions. Whilst the Serie B promotion is the top 2 get promoted, and then the third and fourth. Like there's a third place, but if it's about how many number of
I know
points
about
they're
Serie.
ahead of
I
the
know about
other
the Serie
division.
B promotion playoff to Serie A. What I'm talking
No,
about
but
is
for
to
Serie-
go from C to B.
So I think I know.
I
Oh.
think there's 3
No,
automatic relegation spots.
I don't know about
Then there's a
relegation.
player.
This is gonna be hilarious if we get this all wrong, but I'm pretty sure I know. I believe the playoff. So the playoff. What's unique about it is there's 3 divisions, right, within the Serie C. There's
Yeah,
like
and I think
there's
the winner
a
of
Chi
each one
A, a Chi
goes
B,
up.
Chi C. I believe the winner of each one goes up, and then from positions 2 to 8 across 3 different teams. So it's 18 teams compete in a playoff for one spot, I think.
And I think that
For one
opportunity,
spot.
and I think that gives them an
18
opportunity to
teams.
have a play-in with the fourth bottom team in Serie B. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, that I don't think so.
I don't think so either, because I think it's three
Yeah, I think
teams
you
that
just
get
made
relegated
that
from
up.
Serie
That'd
B,
be,
but I'm
I
doing the
think you
math
just
in my
made
head
that up.
thinking,
That'd be pretty crazy.
yeah, I know, but in my head it's 3 clubs that get relegated from Serie B
I just
every
think it's-
year, and I think it's 4 that get promoted to Serie B because it's one of the, I believe it's the winner of each respective division, and then there's the fourth play-in spot.
I literally just explained.
Yes, I know, but I'm saying that's 4 clubs that would get promoted.
Yes.
I don't believe that 4 clubs
Okay,
get
I don't know.
relegated.
I don't know the
B.
relegation of Serie B. I'm just saying that's crazy. What a fun fact! Like 18 clubs for one spot. I'm pretty
No,
sure
it's the most. No, it's the most
crazy.
electric. It's the most electric thing in probably all of sport is lower divisions, promotion, relegation battles.
Yeah, the Serie C and all that is the way they do it is it's crazy. But it's Italian football.
awesome.
And
I think it's
Italian football is batshit, and it's incredibly entertaining, and it's part of it. I don't know. I guess the older you get, you learn to maybe just accept things and just accept things as they are, and that they're never going to really change. And if change is going to come, you should take that as like, oh, great, something good happened. Do you know what I mean? And that's how kind of where I am with Italian football. I don't really have much faith in the current paradigm being able to do anything decent, but I do have faith in new people come into the Serie A and changing it from the top, and I do think and I think that starts in the Serie B as well. I think we're seeing a professionalization and a modernization of Italian football, even though it's slow, but I do think that it's happening, and I think it's the key to that is North Americans with Italian roots, business people moving there and understanding that, you know.
Yeah, and Nima, what are your thoughts on? I think reports are probably a month old now, maybe even more. That JP Morgan wanted to enter into some form of relationship with the Serie A, provide like a big investment, and then I guess try on the commercial end. Whether it's linking the league with consultants, or I don't know how that relationship would look. But
my thoughts are exactly what Joe Tacopina said when he first came to Italian football with Roma, and he put together a group of investors and bought Roma. When he said that Italian football is one of the most undervalued properties in all of the world, that there is a huge, that before Italian football clubs were owned for social currency purposes, but as he said, like one thing does not exclude the other, and I think now we see with more and more clubs, they see that they're incredibly undervalued, because what they understand and what they see is that Italy is Italian fashion, Italian food, Italian style, Italian music, Italian movies, Italian everything is one of the most favorite. Italy as a tourist destination is one of the most popular and one of the top in the world, but Italian football isn't. So they're thinking, well, people really like this country, people really enjoy they like this country, they like the culture, they like everything, and they do like Italian football. We just need to have the people running Italian football become, to get it up to par, up to speed, if that makes sense.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, look, the thing also is that I find. Yeah, hang on, Nick. Just maybe rectify that. I don't know what the hell's going on there.
It says something about the internet.
I mean, we need D'Lo back
Yes,
pronto, man. Recording continues smoothly. Live video will return when the internet improves. I mean, listen, can I repair D'Lo's ACL myself? I'll get in there. Have me a scalpel.
When's the last time you played Operation?
Have me a scalpel. I'm getting in there. No, I mean, the thing with Italian football is, I think it's one of the few things that, it's one of Italy's few exports where it's really hard to hide the insanity, because you can pop in, have good food, you could go shopping in Italy, you can look at it, museums, its aesthetic, its architecture, and so on, and you can kind of not really get an idea of a lot of the crazy underbelly that exists. But in Italian football, because it plays out I mean, in front of you. Just games are insane. I mean, you see how guys act. I mean, it's everything about it is theatrical.
Italian football is the
from
intersection.
the off-field stuff that we like is fun to talk about. But I'm saying even just on the field, looking at it is visually it's hard to hide when you look at the stadium falling apart or people getting in the face of the ref, asking him what's going on. It's like, yeah, it's almost like it's too. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I think it's entertaining. I'm a huge fan of it.
I think
it's a recurring theme of the pod, but I think for the layman, it doesn't have the same.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
appeal
I think it
because
does. I think the problem is the marketing that the Serie A does. I think the way that the marketing decisions and business decisions they've done to market the league globally, as well as the Italian bureaucracy in terms of refurbishing stadiums, new stadiums, and new revenue streams and all that. That's the problem, and I think there's a quite simple reason for that. The people in charge don't want it to change. They're happy. They're making money. It's simple as that.
The good thing is they'll die.
Well, exactly.
soon,
I'm
so
so
that's
glad you
good.
brought that up. No, seriously, I think that's a good point. I mentioned that on our pod the other day, and I said when people were pissed off about Luciano Moggi making homophobic statements about Jakub Jankto, I was like, why should I care about what 85-year-old Luciano?
What did he say? What did he say about Jakub
Well, he
Jankto?
said, what was it? He said, he came out and it was something along the lines of, because he was like, they spoke to everybody from Raja Nainggolan to Zlatan Ibrahimovic to Paolo Maldini to Di Gregorio to Pessina, and everyone was like, it's I'm happy for him, and Zlatan said,
Who wants to hear what Michele Di Gregorio has to say about that?
it was-
The goalkeeper
yeah,
at Monza.
but
Hey,
they asked.
buddy, what do
Yeah,
you
but
think
they asked.
about the first
Yeah.
ever
no, but
open
They
gay
asked
player?
Yeah,
I
they
don't,
asked him, and anyway, I think Zlatan said, Naraja said something I think along the lines of my sister's gay, and for me it's not a problem. Or my sister's been together with a woman, something like that. And then Zlatan said something, I think it's...
My sister's been together with a woman is very different from my sister's
Yeah,
gay.
something
You
like
can say
that. No,
my
I think-
sister's been together
no,
with a
no.
woman is actually doing the opposite. It's like, everyone turns their head and says,
but it
"Who's
was
that
something
freak?"
along those lines of my sister was together in a relationship with a woman or something like that. And Zlatan said something along...
Well, that's great. And she probably looks just like Raja Nainggolan. They probably look
I don't
identical.
know. But Zlatan said something along the lines of, it's incredibly brave.
By the way, I look like a lesbian right now. I shaved my beard the other day. I look like a...
Jesus.
Sorry, we're talking over each other. There's a brief lag there. I think I look like a female UFC bantamweight. I shaved my beard the other day. I wanted to see my jawline again, and I looked at myself in the mirror and was like, I'm a lesbian.
But regardless,
I look like a
what
boxer puncher.
Luciano Moggi said was something along the lines of, well, he's
sorry.
something.
Yeah.
What was it? Something along the lines of, he's something that normally a man is not, or some shit like that. And people were getting all angry and upset about it.
Jeez.
And my reaction.
Not
well,
wrong.
Well,
It's not wrong. But But you know
it
what
is
he's
wrong.
doing.
It is wrong, because what the hell?
It's almost
I'm
like
sorry,
he's
listen,
saying-
let me finish. Luciano Moggi.
Well, no,
Luciano
it's
Moggi-
it's
No,
accurate.
it's not
It's accurate, but it's unnecessary.
It's
He's
not
twisting it a little
accurate
bit
because
Well,
he doesn't know what he's talking about. Like every time he opens his mouth, what is normality and who gets to decide that? Luciano Moggi? I'm sorry, like shut the f up. Like,
Well,
but the thing is, like, let me finish. Let me finish.
What do you pretend? You pretend?
And Luciano,
Okay,
and basically, my reaction to Luciano Moggi saying whatever stupid shit he's saying is, he's 85 years old. He has no power, no influence, nothing of importance to anyone. Let nature run its course. Like, he's gonna die soon, within 5 years, 10 years, however many years he's got left. He's not important. He's
people live to be pretty
Well,
long
he-
in Italy.
yeah,
and he
but
has
he's
a
not
clear
important.
conscience.
Yeah.
I mean, that man has no demons to take to the grave.
You're right.
He's got a clear
Right.
conscience.
He is the
feels-
demon. He'd be
feels
the
very
first
good about
demon
himself.
to. Anyway, no, but listen, no, but my point is simply this. I don't care.
Who's asking him anything? He's banned from football. Who
Well,
wants
he's
to get a quote
banned.
from Luciano
He's
Moggi
banned.
on a guy
He's banned from
on a
football.
Czech
He's
player?
banned from football, but Juve invite him to their annual shareholders meeting. Like, let's not to speak. So let's not, let's remember that.
It's embarrassing.
But anyway, it's and it was, I think it was Laiene who interviewed all of these guys about Jakub Jankto, and everyone was like really modern and professional about
Okay.
it. But that's what I mean. Like, why are we like? I don't let nature run its course. He's not important. He's old. People with his view do not represent how most people feel. Nobody cares. Jakub Jankto, really, I think the way that he came out was very, I thought it was just on a human level. It wasn't this usual, like, like circus that it can.
Very classy, not in your
No,
face.
it wasn't. It was
Yeah,
just
yeah,
like,
yeah.
this is who I am. I'm not going to hide it.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
thought it was
yeah.
very classy, and I thought it was very,
Yeah, it's yeah. Like let me quote. There was a guy who my father went to school with named Rocco Daddario in the East End of Montreal, and they had
I love that name, by the way.
they had
listen?
home
I
ec,
love that name.
Does he listen?
and they had home ec class once, home economics, which is because this was in the 80s, and the guy walked into class, and he was a bit of a shit disturber. This guy has to be said. As Rocco Commiso would, his name is Rocco Commiso, but as the East End guys in Montreal say, I think it was Vinny from Milan Club Montreal, who's Calabrese, said, no, it's Commiso.
Commiso, yeah.
But whatever, doesn't matter. It's Commiso, doesn't matter. As Rocco Commiso would say, Rocco Daddario is a bit of a chicomatok, which means, like, my dad would tell me growing up when I would bust my brother's balls, don't be like a chicomatok,
Yeah.
like I'm pinching your,
pincher.
yeah, well, whatever. So Rocco comes into class and he says to the teacher, "Me, I don't know, sir. Me, I smell cock." 'Cause they're cooking. And he goes, "Rocco, get the fuck out of my class right now." And that's what Jankto said. He goes, "Listen, me, I don't know. Me, I like cock. That's it. What am I going to do? Anyway, ciao." It was respectful. I like that. No, but, here's the thing. And I think it's good that Luciano Moggi still gets invited to the shareholders meeting because he's
because you got to
he's a
feed the low
sacrificial
IQ end
lamb
of your fan base.
He's a martyr. Huh,
No,
Sam?
you
He's
got
a
to
martyr.
feed
He's
the
a
low IQ.
sacrificial
Yeah,
lamb.
right. Yeah, the sacrificial lamb.
You're talking to one
Yeah.
right here.
No, listen. No, it's
No, but like here's the thing. When Mochi comes out and says, "What did you say?" He said, "I'm hearing this quote for the first time."
I'm going to
Did he
read
say,
it for you now. It says.
Well, you can paraphrase. It's fine. He said he is something that most men
No.
are not.
Let me
and
read it
that's
for you.
cool.
He says he has a
You didn't say that's
Let me say. He says he has a family
say?
and he has a son, which means that he has character. Probably the character that he showed on the pitch. Unfortunately, you're born in certain ways, and Jacob was born in a way that is a bit particolare. I love when Italians use that word particolare. And then he says deviato in un qualcosa che praticamente normalmente un uomo non è. Like, it's
Yeah.
yeah.
He's not wrong. I mean, listen, but this is what I mean when I say it's not incorrect. Like, by the numbers, most men are not, from what we're led to understand, that way. But saying that is like, and I was saying this before, it's like just twist it a little bit. It's almost like he knows, and I think he enjoys it. I think he knows
stop.
he can't be
He
that
doesn't stop there.
stupid.
But
I think he's not a stupid man. He's not a stupid. I want to hear more.
says-
This is fantastic. I
he
can't wait to
says
hear more.
in-
But he's not a stupid man. He has to know that he's gonna get in trouble. He has to be like, I don't care anymore. I'm gonna fucking have a little fun here. I'm just gonna twist a little bit. He's being a chicomato.
But he says also.
It's a little
Yeah,
unnecessary.
but we're talking about a man who said he'd kick a home. If he knew one of his players was gay, he'd kick them out of Juve. Like this isn't the first time he's. This is what we're talking about. Anyway, he said.
Well, that's progress. Now he's saying un po' particolare. He's being a little more careful with his words now.
But anyway,
Adesso
says-
è un po' particolare.
And then they say, well, what about if fans insult him? And then he says, this is football, unfortunately, and meno male. Like, so.
Yeah, he probably says the same thing about
Exactly,
racist
and this is what I mean. Like,
Sure.
this is again what I mean, Sam. He's 85 years old. He's not important. People like that aren't important. They don't matter. If you were to poll,
It just feels like those guys live forever.
Let him live.
It just feels like, what's Silvio Berlusconi still doing owning a club? It's insane. They all think they're immortal. I've talked about this at length. I've talked about him at length because he's like the king.
He's found
One of
the
these phenomena.
compound that everyone's searching to stay young forever. What's it called? Adrenochrome?
Adrenochrome. But again, you wonder how many of these guys are still going to hang on. And then we lose the fun ones. Like Zamparini left us, and he wasn't really a problem. He was just, well, he kind of was.
crazy.
But he was a dinosaur, but he was fun. And then we're left with, I don't know. Like, Lotito's not offering anything to Italian football, and he's not old enough. He'll
no,
be
but
around for a fucking
Lotito's
while. And
different.
it's like,
Lotito's a bit of a clown, but he's he's what he is. But he's not batshit crazy. Like, he's not Zamparini crazy. He's not Berlusconi he's not Berlusconi crazy, who says he's gonna as a joke, if you beat Juve, Milan, or Inter, I'm gonna drive a pullman di Troia into the dressing room. Like, I mean, so that he said, literally said.
Any word on if he actually did that?
No, we have not.
Because they did beat Juve, and no word. That's unfortunate.
Yeah.
It's been a sneaky wild season at Monza. You know, Pablo Mari got stabbed.
No. In the mall.
Pullman di Troia. You know, Berlusconi ran for election. He stood for prime minister.
But that's the
during
reason
the
why he's
season.
doing
It's
this. He
been an
wants to
eventful-
show that he can, he, like you said, he thinks he's going to live forever. But my point is simply this: that look, these people aren't relevant anymore. And even Berlusconi isn't relevant anymore, like he once was.
They kind of are, though, because they're the only figures that are involved. It's like there are no 30-somethings in. There are no 30-somethings.
Yeah, but they don't have the, what I mean by that
it's
is
because of
they don't.
it's because of Italian culture, right? Like there's a lot of this in a lot of
Yeah, but my point is simply
the
look, my
Mediterranean,
point-
right? Is seniority and
Yeah,
respect.
yeah, seniority and respect
young
is
blood
fine.
isn't
Everyone
present.
Yeah, I get that they're present. I'm not saying that we should lock like that. No. What I'm saying is they don't matter anymore. Like people like that, it doesn't matter. Why get upset and offended and waste time on an 85-year-old Luciano Moggi who just lives off of creating drama in the media? That's the only thing he lives off of, because he's a nobody in Italian football. He has no power. He has nothing to say about it. We're talking about a guy who used to be the run Juventus, is now basically a meme on Sette Gold in Tele Lombardia. Like this is where he is. So let him have that. Why get offended at that? Just slide and just say, okay, Luciano, whatever, and then move on. Like, why bother with that? Because at the same time, the other people, from young to old, from Maldini to current players, to everyone was like, who cares? It's normal. Whatever. We'll move on. It's not a big deal. Like that's that.
He's Livia Soprano.
Yeah,
He's Livia Soprano.
yeah, that's it. He's Liv Soprano. Yeah, Livia Soprano. Just twist a little bit.
A lot.
And then at the end he goes, "What did I say?
Yeah,
I didn't say
exactly.
anything." So I'm saying I think he knows what he's doing. Yeah,
He's a
know.
dickhead, but
You know what I think? I actually think that we say these people are all going to go away at some point, and I think what we fail to take into account is that there's a steady stream of insane Gen Xers that are still going to exude very similar behavior, and they're gonna just slowly morph into those roles on those same TV channels. In Tele Lombardia, they're 58 years old now, spry chickens, but they'll be 68 in 10 years, and that's when they'll get the prime time
I know
spots.
what you mean.
I don't think it's
I know what you
going
mean, but I think
away
it's
totally.
no, of course
I don't know.
things don't just magically disappear, but it's different, Sam, is the point I'm making. It's like, why my point was simply like, why waste time on people who don't matter? And doesn't matter. Let nature run its course. Just nod. It's like when doesn't everyone have a relative who's older, like a grandmother or someone who says something really inappropriate? You don't take that debate with them. You just say, okay, no.
Well, Sam does. That's the difference. Sam's built different.
My socialist grandfather. I discussed my socialist grandfather who's on drugs now. I went to visit him on Christmas on like Festivus on like the 23rd of December. I was off for Christmas and I went to pop in to have lunch with him in his new retirement home, a retirement community that he's in, and I just started asking him questions about like running for office back in the day, and he admitted to my father later that day or like later that week, he goes, "Sam came over, I felt like I was getting interrogated." So he said, I never know when to stop. I push him a little.
No,
too,
but my
push
point
him
is,
too
like,
far,
everyone has like an older relative that get together.
100%.
They say something that
100%.
is like really, really, because they were raised in a different age, and I don't even think they even mean anything by it. So at that point, what do? Do you take the debate and go full on social justice warrior, or you just let shit slide?
not.
Do you know what I mean? I think that's
Yeah.
part of it. I think a lot of times in life, just let shit slide. Like, it's not important.
Well, that's healthy. That's
You
a
know?
healthier. Yeah.
You only have so much energy. You only have a finite amount of energy, right? You gotta use it.
Yeah, Nima's had a number of years of going at him like a bull. As a guy who used to play, as Bardetti's brother-in-law said the one time, Big Nick the Greek, the chain smoker, the one time he came to play for us in our Sunday league. Bro, I don't play very much, but when the bull sees red, forget it, bro. Hey, married Bardetti's sister. He's a good guy. Yeah. he would come over to get haircuts sometimes, and he would go out front to have cigarette smoke breaks. When my father would open the door, this guy would be out front smoking cigarettes. He'd be like, "Oh, hi, young man, how are you?" When the bull sees red, that was Nima for a long time, you know. Can I ask you a question, Nima? We were talking about my grandfather. I popped in to see him last weekend with my dad, and we were playing cards. And he's 87. It's 87, and we were playing brisk, and he would still get pissed when playing cards. Is this a thing? And like, are there like Persian cards?
Oh yeah.
Like there are Italian cards, or is it the same?
No, not cards.
Thing as a standard American card deck.
Yeah, it's a standard American.
You guys have your own games?
Yeah, we have our own games, but it's
because
standard decks, yeah.
Okay. Because okay, standard deck. Okay, well anyway, I was playing briscola with my grandfather, and he would still every time he would have a point, Nick, he would do the thing you do. He would still go, "De, tak, de." He would get mad, you know. That he would get mad and say, "Yeah, how do you like this? Yeah, ecco, tak."
Violently.
Do they slam cards in Mesopotamia as well, or?
I can't speak for the entire area, but I can speak for Iran. But it's a pretty
Caucasus.
goddamn geographical.
Speak for Dagestan and Armenia and Georgia and Iraq.
No, we do have our own
part of the world.
Our own card games.
That whole hairy part of the world.
We do have our own card games. We do.
Because I feel like Persian gentlemen are a little more a little more gentlemanly. A little more calm when they get older, you know. They move slowly, have a little tea. I'm in Azerbaijan. How are you? Yes, you know, little tea, play cards. Let's debate.
Yeah.
Philosophy. Let's talk. I don't know. I feel like I don't know. Is
there
the same level of aggression among the old?
It depends. I mean, I think you're absolutely right in saying that maybe when I was younger, I used to unnecessarily maybe react. But then again, I think it's also because. Not just because I was younger, but also because I think we're the first generation that has been really we social media was thrown at us at an adult age, and I don't think a lot of us knew how to. I don't think anyone knew how to deal with it and handle it and stuff like that. And I think
some people still don't.
Exactly. And I think it's one of those things where you realize that, well, I've come to realize at least that, okay, but I don't need to respond. There's no law that says that I need to respond to some asshole somewhere in the world who writes something offensive to me. I can just mute the motherfucker and continue with my life, and that would be the end of it. Do you know what I mean? Like, you don't need to engage. There is no. Yeah. I think the problem with social media, the way we weren't ready for the fact that when somebody, because we're wired that when somebody asks you something, when somebody says something, you respond and retort. I don't look at it like that. I think I've learned when to retort and when not to retort, and I do when it matters. When there is, you have to learn to choose your battles, isn't it, in life generally? And when it matters, I don't.
So like this week,
what?
When it matters, you do. Well, so like, do you think it matters this week when, like, you know, a quote that's being taken from your platform is being taken out of context, and, you know, leading to fake news, really? Or do you just kind of roll?
No, I email.
You know the game, right?
I email the person, and
it's good for you too.
The person if I can and ask them to change.
You
it.
do?
Yeah. I privately,
no,
I do, because that's different. That's not. You know, it's about you're ascribing something to me.
It's professional.
Yeah, you're ascribing something to me that I've not said. Please take responsibility for your actions, and you don't need to be a.
Well, I guess that's one thing, but I think the thing I'm referring to is more the fact that it was Joe's quotes that kind of got taken out of context and run with a little bit more, right? Or am I mistaken? I haven't looked at every one of the dozen articles that came out that may or may not have quoted you.
No, but it does say the Italian Football Podcast. It does say the Italian Football Podcast in every single one of them. And as such, as someone who did the interview, I feel a responsibility as a journalist for the subject that I'm interviewing, that he's represented fairly as much as I can. I do take that. I do feel that responsibility. I know a lot of journalists don't give a shit, but I'm not wired like that. I think that
there's the translation variable too. So maybe you're doing
exactly
saying, hey, by the way, you fucked this up. You didn't understand this. Maybe that could be part of it. But you know, a lot of journalists suck at their job, man. Like I wouldn't have the stamina to go after them.
It depends on how you go about it. If you, I usually just, you know, I've gotten to the point where I just translate everything to Italian and send it out in Italian. Like I don't even read like this is how much of a control freak I am and how little faith I have in human beings that I just say fuck it, I'll just do the translation in every language and send it out, and you just do what I tell you to do. It's just easier for everybody involved. Now I didn't have the time. The Trump quotes I didn't send out and translate them because I didn't think anyone would. I think it was obvious, given that the audio was out there, that he wasn't seriously saying that Trump was going to buy Inter. But so I didn't. I guess more fool me. I guess I gotta even do that next time. But look, usually it depends on the person. I trust the person. If it depends on who I'm sending it to. If it's someone who I don't have a close relationship with, then I translate it and because then I want to control how I want to handle it. And if they fuck it up, then I can say, hang on, I sent you this in Italian. Why have you changed it? What's going on here, right? But if it's someone I have a close personal relationship or have a business relationship or a professional relationship with, then I can go to them and say, hang on, I can trust them because I know that they won't fuck me over. And if there's a problem, I'll just DM them in private.
That feels that feels healthy. That feels healthier.
Yeah. One of the earliest bits on this podcast was us making jokes about how poorly some like headlines were translated into English, right? On some of the
word for word. Yeah. Because Italian translation doesn't Italian articles don't.
How it always starts with like a question, right? The sentence always translates
in quotes. A question in quotes.
In quotes.
Within an answer.
And it's a paraphrase. It's the like stupidest thing.
So in quotation marks. Good. So it'll say.
Yeah, say it once time. So.
Trump. Punto di interrogazione. Se lo dicesse io,
exactly,
like whatever,
exactly.
Unquote. It's like what? But I would like. So here's what I would like to do. I'm thinking of this now. If I ever get to a point where for some reason I'm interviewed by an Italian media outlet,
probably not gonna happen.
But you never know. You never know.
Just in case, let's talk.
Il comico italo-canadese Samuel Adamo sta qui con noi nello studio.
You're like, what's up, bitches?
No. They'll say, per quale motivo lei ha scelto questa carriera? I will respond and say, I'll stroke my chin and say, la mia ispirazione? Insomma, c'è stato, and then I'll proceed and I'll give a very direct answer. But I'll put the mustard.
It'll be the only time in history that will actually be a quotation.
We'll try, yeah.
Gotta make that happen.
We have a fun five-a-side segment planned out here. I mean, Nick and I are gonna wing it. We're gonna share one. Cool. Let's wrap on this, Nima. We decided that we're gonna do the five-a-side of Honorary Italians. Now, again, it's been a little while. We have new listeners who haven't been around for as long as we've not been doing the segment. That was a weird way of wording that. There are some listeners who have like started tuning in the last year, and I think the last time we might have done this might have been a year ago, type of thing. Más o menos. So what it is basically we got to field the five-a-side team. No tactical. No tactical sense is required here. So you could have a striker in goal. You could have a goalkeeper as in midfield. It doesn't fucking matter. But what we got to do is we got to field a five-a-side team of whatever it is that we're choosing as a topic. Now, I was under the impression that you really wanted to do this one, which we're about to do, which is the five-a-side of Honorary Italians, players who could have been Italian. Nick then corrected me and said, "Hey, dude, Nima said he's okay to do that, or that or players you forgot existed." Nick is adamant that it would be better to do players you forgot existed.
I didn't say I'm adamant.
Well, yesterday you said I think it'd be better.
No, I personally our list is going to be more weighted towards you for Honorary Italians. That's what I was saying.
Well,
I still have some though.
Here's the thing. I think they're both good little tidbits of. I mean, we have a few good little tidbits we can get out of each one. So let's extract a couple nuggets out of the other one first, real quick. This won't be a five-a-side, but just real quick, let's just talk about players that we forgot existed, or that you might have forgotten existed. Because that's not the five-a-side we're going to do. We're going to get into the five-a-side in a sec, but because I think this also might have been a good one, and I don't know when we're going to do this segment again. I want to blitz like a little quickie here. some players you forgot existed. Off the top of your head here, Nick and I don't have a list, but so the other day I was in bed, about to fall asleep,
As one is every day.
right, and I just had a light go off, and I swear to God this happened. There was no sentence associated with the thought. There was no, I wonder what happened to it. No, just his name popped into my head, Gabriel Paletta, and I was like, I need to know, where's he at?
He's still playing, I think.
Dude, so I had to look him up, and I was like, where the fuck is he at? He was at Monza. He was in Serie C. Monza's in Serie A now. Oh, my God. And I looked it up. He was with them this year until 2 weeks ago. They released him. He's 37 out of a contract right now.
Yeah, that guy
And he's
just
like one
was
of Nick
fighting
Genelletti's
fighting the hairline for way too long. It was
one of
shocking.
Nick
It was
Genelletti's
shocking.
favorite
It was shocking.
players ever because of that. We used to make fun of that to no end. And when I was 17, I used to, when he played for us in that World Cup 16, turning 17, I remember thinking, is he? It was so bad. Like, the hairline was so bad. It was so stringy. I was like, what? There's got to be something I'm not seeing here. Is he blonde?
It is shocking. It was really shocking. And I know he's not taking home the biggest pay out there, but like you can afford sorry, I might sound like such an asshole right now. Like, if you're an athlete and have that much money,
there's no reason to go
no,
bald.
either go bald or fix it.
Yeah.
Like, why would you want to stay in purgatory? There's nothing wrong if you want to stay bald, but like, do one
There's no
or
reason to
the
if you don't
other.
want to.
Like,
Yeah, no,
take care of yourself.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I thought of Gabriel Paletta, like just the name that popped into my head the other day, and in honor of that thought, I thought it might be fair that I just throw it out there. Some players that you might have forgotten existed. This is not the five-a-side, but just who are some guys, Nima? Like remember Ricky Alvarez?
Yeah. I do. Ruben.
Because the reason I didn't want to do this, I told Nick, is because it's just going to be a bunch of Inter and Milan Banterero players of the last 12 years.
No, but yeah, I know what you mean. But Ruben Botta, I think, is fun. I think he's a Bari now. He's the guy who Mazzarri said, "Questo è un fuori classe," when he came from Tigres to Inter, and he was not a fuori classe.
Ruben
Botta.
I actually don't know.
Yeah, I think he's a Bari. Yeah.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, since 2021.
Who do you got? You got anyone, Nick? Just a random name. I don't know.
Yeah, and
then we'll pivot away. Just everyone gets a name. Just a little throwback. I don't know. Just throw a curveball.
I wanted to have fun with this one, and it's mostly like a dig at myself and like a memory of myself. And I know you were saying this segment was all gonna revolve around like players from our personal clubs that we say, I don't know, remember this guy, remember that guy, but Krzysztof
Piontek, yeah.
Piontek, sorry, the proper pronunciation, Piontek, who is playing in the Serie A right now.
Salernitana.
He's still a Fiorentina?
No, he's with Salernitana.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
I knew that. He scored against Juve this year, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Okay.
Just looking back on that,
You could do better than that.
I've never been more like embarrassed as someone who watches the game and like who has an opinion about something that I enjoy watching.
Well,
how it like the rise and the fall in my stupid fucking grad picture that probably surfaces on Twitter once a year.
Nick's grad
where
picture.
I did the stupid fucking guns.
Nick's grad picture that year. What they do is they say take a serious grad picture and they say take a stupid
like
one. So he did this.
So players that you've forgotten, no, obviously not. On the opposite, I'm actually like very ashamed. But just in that spirit, right? You didn't even know where he was playing right now. Went to we managed to recoup probably a bit more than half of I forget how much we'd sold him to Hertha Berlin or whatever, and did nothing in the Bundesliga, and then came back to Fiorentina, did nothing, and just unbelievable. And some of the quotes I remember him having about himself were so arrogant.
The funny thing about the Piontek thing was Curva Sud, Milan's Curva, came up with a song for him, and he was so bad that Inter's Curva is singing it verbatim back to them as a joke to remind them of how shit he was, which I think is
great fucking shit.
So
amazing,
so good,
fantastic, and we deserve it. Yeah, just horrible, man. Just so ashamed. And yeah, some of you out there.
Do you remember a player?
Even though it wasn't
you guys remember
ago.
a player called? This is really back. This always struck by me. Morris Carrozzieri. You remember him? He's 42 now. He doesn't play anymore. But he was at Palermo, and
That's a terrible name.
Morris Carcieri. Yeah, it's so good.
My favorite Italians are guys with like insane names like Walter or Guglielmo Vicario. You know,
That's just William in
Guillermo.
Italian, Guglielmo, isn't it?
I know, but nobody ever calls their kids.
Anyway, my favorite thing is Morris Carcieri I think it was 2009, and he was doing really well for himself, but he tested positive for cocaine, and he was suspended, and he never really came back after that, and it's just everything that happened around that, and how he, and just his entire career, the character he was. It's just, he's one of those like Italian players that it's just, I remember him because when he was good, but he was never that good, if you know what I mean. And then everything around him was just crazy, right?
Right.
Yeah, like just like a cult, like a cult hero. But
this might be a stupid question. Is the Serie A like regularly testing for cocaine back then? Like what like allowed for this to happen? Like what happened? Was he like arrested?
No, I think it was a normal doping test because it falls under that. Yeah, they test for that. Yeah, I think that. I mean, that's yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
I didn't know that. I had another guy on my list. I was just thinking of former national teams that I guess that have been more prevalent in Sam and I's life. So from 2006 onwards, really. So I started looking from 2012 to 2018, I would say, if we want to call. Well, I guess you could argue Italy's still like in a banter era.
Oh, come on. We won the Euro. We nearly won the Euros. It was just an accident. It was just accident. That was, just,
a little blip on the radar. I feel like Sam has a lot to say right now, but he's fixing his phone camera. He's even blocking me in the shot over here. But the one guy I wanted to pinpoint was Graziano Pelle, specifically because of the tournament that he had under Antonio Conte in 2016, and I think that earned him a transfer to Southampton, I believe. Was it?
It was the team in fucking China.
Or whatever it was, and
Shandong Luneng.
yeah. So like that made me think of wanting to ask the question, random Azzurri call. My brain could go everywhere on things like this where we're just talking about guys and whatnot. But Graziano Pelle, yeah, that was another one. Just a very random journeyman career from, I think he really broke through in the Netherlands, right? And I always like stories about Italians who like have their breakthrough in football in other countries.
There's a guy who's about to get called up.
There's
a guy,
right?
Vincenzo
Grifo in Germany.
Grifo's one. There's a guy who plays for Steaua Bucuresti right now.
Yes, he's 26 years old.
Who's about to get called up by Mancini. I think his last name's Compagno.
I saw
He's
that.
from Palermo.
I saw that.
He's the most Sicilian-looking guy I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, I just always find that really cool because maybe this is just like a very anecdotal take.
Yeah, sorry, if we're talking about.
Bro, by the way, I'm sorry, Nima. We gotta pay D'Lo, man, because my phone died while filming this, and that means that halfway.
We're filming.
That means
also.
that halfway. No, I'm just telling you that means that halfway through this YouTube video, the fucking quality is gonna go to shit, and yeah, it's gonna be on my webcam for like I don't know how long my phone has been out. So D'Lo's got to get paid. I think that's like the overarching takeaway from his absence. I'm sorry.
You've made that known. You've made that known.
Yeah, let it be known. D'Lo's he's gonna get his due. This is fucking. I mean, this whole thing is falling off the rails without him. There are a lot of moving parts. I mean, we got like, and didn't I say to Nima before we recorded this? Didn't I say this is gonna be a really high tech fucking operation? We got like a bunch of moving parts and yeah. I'm sorry. So you were saying.
I wanted to like, if we're talking about like stereotypes, Armando Izzo. I mean, like.
Yeah. Oh my God, yeah. Sam loves that guy. Sam wants to like. You wish you looked like that guy. You wish you looked like Armando
Izzo.
Him. No, shut up.
I do look like him.
You don't. See, Nima, he wants to be this guy. I've known this for years too because you used to suck this guy off. You thought he was like the best center back in Italy, like shameless, just gobbling him up. Oh, it's horrible. And look at him now.
No, he's
yeah. I mean, they're still don't come at my boy, bro. They're going after him for the match fixing thing. He already served his time, man. He already served a 6-month suspension. They want to suspend him for longer now.
Wasn't his grandfather also like part of the mafia or something, or was that someone else?
His dad.
That was his father. He's dead. They shot him.
His dad. He's dead. Yeah.
That's right. Yes.
Okay, Sam, sit your ass down on the fucking couch, man.
Yeah. Well, we gotta listen. We gotta Gotta get the shot set up for the last man. The segment's got to be. Holy fuck! I don't even know if it's filming. Whatever. This is what it is.
It looks like it's filming.
It's gonna be a long night ahead.
He's filming on his other phone. He thinks he's fancy over here.
We had another camera set up that was gonna. Remember before we started, Nima, I said you're gonna fucking have your mind blown when you see what it looks like on YouTube. It's because we had an additional camera.
Yeah, your mind's gonna be blown for how fucking garbage it is. That's what's gonna happen. You're like, what the fuck? High tech operation.
So okay, so gentlemen, it's the five-a-side of honorary Italians. I'm realizing that this whole list would be a lot. It would require a lot more thought if we couldn't pick Argentinians, because it's very low hanging fruit. It's very low hanging fruit. I mean, every Argentinian is kind of an honorary Italian anyway. But nevertheless, I mean, let's get into it. Some guys that stand out to me. Nick and I were sharing yesterday. Nick, I don't know. I feel like these aren't really going to be salacious. Maybe if Nima has some better suggestions, it's going to get the synapses firing, and I'll think of some other shit. But
I think
why don't we let Nima start off?
Okay, sure, go ahead.
The first person I have is is the one and only Gigi Becali, the Romanian. The Romanian football agent, politician, businessman. He owned Stoia Bucharest. He was the mayor of Bucharest. Was
he a professional footballer?
No, he owned Stoia Bucharest.
Okay, so wait, hang on. This changes everything. We could open up to non-players.
Yeah. I thought we're just okay. I thought we said Italians, just like honorary Italians.
Well, this is great. No, this is great. We could actually have one
time because he's Romanian and Romania and Hungary don't have exactly the best historical relations. He believes that there is a conspiracy of Hungarian Freemasons who finance Stoia Bucharest's biggest rivals, Cluj. This is one of his disturbances of the peace. He attacked one time. He attacked a journalist on the street at a cafe because that person had written a piece that he didn't like, and he said that he told the journalist that you should have been shot. And this
guy doesn't mince words.
Yeah, no, he's out of his. He's batshit, and he's he said lots of racist and homophobic shit as well. He went to a journalist and called her a monkey. I mean, the guy is just. He is out there, but yeah, I think.
Was she black?
Yeah,
or was
she was a black.
Was she monkeying around?
She was of African descent, and he didn't like her. So
it's a shame. It's a shame that some people use it as a racial term, because calling someone a monkey, if there's no racial undertone.
I agree. It's like calling someone a clown.
I love calling my brother you're being a fucking monkey right now.
I mean,
there's some animal like a monkey, a donkey, a turkey. There's some really good animals that you could call someone.
All ending in E.
I mean, he once called one of the women in the parliament, Lavinia Chandru, who's a parliamentarian, and I quote. Go and become a candidate for the ring road, not for the European Parliament. And basically, the ring road is where prostitutes hang. Right. I mean, the guy is.
She attractive?
Yeah, I mean, and also he said. I mean, one time he said that a woman has no more value after she's given birth to a child. Like, the guy is absolutely batshit crazy. But I mean, if we're talking crazy batshit old school Italian presidents, he would fit right in there.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For me, he's the goalkeeper in my five-a-side team.
What a wild card, dude.
Running the show.
Can you take? You have a call coming in. You want to take the call?
No.
No. Okay.
No.
I like taking live calls on the pod sometimes.
Not this.
By the way, you want to join the Freemasons? I was thinking about this recently. I thought I would bring this up when you came back on the pod. You know, there's a Freemason.
You texted me this, and I vividly remember just ignoring it. I believe. Yeah.
Is that a no?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's a no.
You don't want to do it as a bit and chronicle it? I'd be down to join the Freemasons and see what's up.
Can't you not get out once you get in?
Let's find out. A couple young bucks.
Is Nima gonna be our emergency contact if it doesn't go well?
I'll gladly be your emergency contact.
And the legions of listeners, the 75 people that are subscribed to the YouTube channel right now, have them as my witness. Half of them are probably bots. Yeah, I don't know. You down? I'm down to maybe join the Freemasons and see what's up and chronicle it, but do it for a bit. They won't listen to this pod, or maybe they will. I feel do you think they do their research before letting new members in?
Let's find out.
Let's find out. Only one way to find out. Yeah, I'm game. Because this is like pretty deep buried into the pod. I mean, we're like probably an hour and a half plus in right now. I mean, we always go long with Nima. I mean, there's no way anyone's listening to fucking, so especially after the fucking, dude, when the camera cuts out to like a fuzzy webcam, there's no way they're overcoming that. There's no way. I think we're safe. This is embedded deep enough into the pod that this will never.
It's just strategic.
It'll never see the light of day. Yeah, I'm down. I'm down to join the Freemasons, bro. I would actually do it fully as a bit. Like I tried becoming a goalkeeper as a bit, you know.
Oh, in retrospect,
it's
a bit. In retrospect, it's a bit.
That's kind of like becoming a Freemason.
Yeah,
but like,
yeah.
like I think it'd be a good side quest. Like one of my random side quests was like I'm just gonna become a goalkeeper, and it worked. I'm down for the next side quest to be I'm becoming a Freemason.
Do it.
And then maybe I'll find out about P2. Maybe like we'll learn about what really happened with Propaganda 2 in Italy, the Masonic like black hand that ran the country for the longest time. What are you looking up?
No, I was just looking up Gigi Becali's Wikipedia page.
Okay, who do we have in goal? We got to get the show on the road here. This is a long ass pod here, which I'm okay with. But like, fuck, I mean, we should have.
Okay, go.
It's like times like this that makes me want to be on Patreon. It's like we have like a first half, you know, like for the plebs, and then like the second half behind the paywall. I don't know.
Start us off.
I mean, it feels dumb to put him in goal. He's a little guy, but can it be anyone other than Diego Armando Maradona? He's like the most honorary Italian guy ever. It's not that fun. I mean, we talk about
this isn't a genuine response from you, given how much you take the piss at Napoli fans for how much they idolize him and how you think it's weird.
Well, it
and
is,
you just,
but I think
that's you twisting the knife.
Well, it is weird, but it's also beautiful, and I think that's part of like the beauty of the whole thing is his being held up, you know, like an idol. I think that kind of puts him up there with the likes of, I don't know, like St. Francis of Assisi or Padre Pio. Like it's very typical of something you might see from like a saint. It's that's not lost on me. Then I mean, we all know about the insanity and everything that kind of spoke to Neapolitans and his
You want him in goal?
desire to make very clear to them. Well, I mean, I don't know. He's the first guy that's coming to mind here. I don't want him in goal, but I can't think of a goalkeeper off the top.
Because
I'm
not putting.
You threw a curveball at me, throwing a politician.
No, it's not a politician. He owns
I don't know.
Stoya Bucharest. I mean, their club there, and he
Right.
yeah.
Sorry.
So, but yeah, no,
Right,
but
yes.
I don't want him in goal. I've changed my mind. I want him in as a defender. 'Cause it's a 5-a-side, isn't it? So you need a goalkeeper.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
forward,
Because he's like a mad dog. He's
Yeah.
like a mad dog.
Yeah.
Well, in that case, I mean, we'll put Maradona as like we
don't have to pick the positions.
That's
in
fine.
order.
We'll put him in the midfield. It's good for like 5-a-side. You
Yeah.
know, you don't want him being the punto. I mean, I would do that. But yeah, I mean, there's not a lot that has to really be said about him because it's kind of all been said a lot. It's been beaten to death in the last like 2 years. Like people have always known who he is, you know. But I think like 10 years ago, it might have been more. I mean, it might have been a little more fun to do a deep dive on him. There were less works and pieces and documentaries and, you know, works of fiction about him. Remember The Hand of God on Netflix?
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't really fiction. It was kind of like semi-autobiographical, but still, like cinema. I mean, there's been a real boom of Maradona content lately. Fresh in my brain. I don't know. He really is like he's the ultimate honorary Neapolitan
really
man.
is. It really is.
That's a good one.
Am I in goal?
I don't know. Like, is this interesting? I mean, it's kind of. I feel like we fucked up picking the segment here. Am I in my head?
No.
You're so insecure.
Feel like nerds
so
right now.
you're so insecure.
Maradona. We're just actually naming like players. You know?
No.
Fucking football.
No,
nerds.
I'm gonna.
Nima's coming at us with like fringe Romanian football presidents. I feel inadequate right now.
That's what Nima brings.
He's
brings
not
the-
French. He is a character. Like you talk to, like this is a man who's been like I've come across him in my life, and he's just, you know, he's out there. But I if I were to go with goal, I have to go with a Colombian. René Higuita has to be my goalkeeper from everything,
Higuita's the
from
best.
being involved in kidnapping, which he claimed he wasn't because his defense was, I'm a footballer, I don't know anything about kidnapping laws, to visiting
Seems legit.
to visiting
Seems
Pablo
legit.
Escobar in prison, claiming he was there to thank Pablo Escobar for turning himself in and had nothing to do with the kidnapping. I mean, it's just, I'm sorry, but this guy he's an honorary batshit crazy Cassano type Italian footballer for me. So Rene Higuita in goal and Beccali as defender.
Can we put Bartolomei Dragovski in
Yes,
goal?
you can.
Why? Why? What makes him an honorary Italian?
Well, I mean, he's more of just a lad. Like, he's a lad's lad, number 69. I mean,
No, I was gonna.
that whole thing. I mean, everything about him just comes off as every interaction I've ever heard him have with someone on record has always made me.
No,
think that
I have a
guy's
better one.
lad.
I have
But he reminds me of like. I guess it's because I consume. But again, like, this exists
No,
in
I have
every.
a better
fucking-
one.
No,
I have
but
a better
okay. But can I just defend why I had the idea to do?
No, it sucks.
Okay, but that's why I want to defend it, because it fucking is terrible, and I need to at least kind of explain what my thinking is here. I can imagine him being prominently featured in a book by Che fatica la vita da bomber. Che fatica la vita da bomber sometimes releases books. I mean, I think they released one of the, like, different footballers that I think are, like, they qualify for having that title, being befitting bombers. I bought the book, One Cynical Sense, at bookstore, and I never opened it up, but it's on my bookshelf right now, and I feel like he could be a guy who had stories in that book. So I feel like he's been in Italy for a while. I don't know. But again, like, every culture has meme pages dedicated to lads in their respective football leagues. So it's like not that Italian, it's just that he's a lad who happens to play in Italy. So that's why I'm not convinced it's a great pick. So if you have a better option, feel free.
Yeah, you're so
goal.
long-winded sometimes. Huh? I was thinking of, so it's even like a bit of this is actually a name that we had mentioned together when we were speaking yesterday. I don't know a whole lot about him. I think the highlights to this man, and it's a little bit of a personal connection given that he managed Pescara, and that's like a local club, I guess, on my mom's side of the family that I like to follow. And I hope I'm pronouncing his name right. It's Zdeněk Zeman, right?
Yeah.
There's almost like a cult following behind him, and like the type of, I think, football and the aesthetic.
So he's in goal?
No, not in goal. I put him at attack. Put him at the fucking player manager. Put him as forward.
We need someone in goal.
We'll find the goalie after.
We found him.
Because
he's number 69. His name is Bartolomei Dragovski.
No, just I know he coached in various clubs in Italy for many years. I don't know if he ever managed outside of Italy, but even I know in his old age, and I guess this kind of relays back to what we were saying in terms of why do we listen to old people talk nonsense. I believe in the last couple of years he's had some quotes that have angered people as well. I'm not too sure.
No, but look,
maybe Nima could enlighten us a little bit on that.
Zeman is Italian football would not have been the same if it wasn't for Zdeněk Zeman. There is an entire generation of Italian footballers from spanning 20, 30 years that this classic expression, the golden touch of Zdeněk Zeman, from Francesco Totti at 16 to Lorenzo Insigne at Pescara and Marco Verratti. I mean, this is someone who is one of the greatest developers of young talent in Italian football that has ever existed. He was a dreadful coach and tactical coach, like tactically in results, because he didn't think defending was necessary in football. But in terms of...
But that's a good reason. That's a good reason why I think he should be included on the list, because he was a stubborn.
Yeah, stubborn. Oh, he is so Italian. He's so Italian. I mean, the stuff he said about Juve when there was this period when he kind of revival, the Zeman revival, when he was asked about Juve, and they asked him, well, how many Scudetti do you think Juve have without cheating? He said maybe 7 or 8. Like he doesn't.
Locked and loaded.
Oh yeah, this guy is.
Oh, that's unreal.
How old is he right now?
Oh, he's about like 90.
He is he's not 90. He's 75.
Yeah. And he always. I remember. But the thing is, you think he looks older because I remember him growing up in the 90s when he used to coach Lazio and Roma, sitting there smoking at the sidelines. Like, he is definitely an honorary Italian. Like
Holy shit. In 2023, he got hired as Pescara's manager.
Back at Pescara,
He's back.
He's back.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that.
Back at Pescara.
That's unreal.
Just the other
Okay.
day.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Yeah, Feb 27th. Yeah.
Just an Adriatic merchant. I hate that word so much.
Delfino merchant.
Yeah, he's an Adriatic Sea merchant. So dumb. Okay. So Zeman somewhere in the 11. Maybe Dragovski in goal. We might have just cheated the system and gone 2 in 1. I don't know.
No, I told you your pick was invalid because it sucks.
Snake draft.
Do you want me to pick
whatever.
mine?
Keep it
I'll pick my
on.
other defender. It's
Yes.
It's from the city I'm from in Sweden, Gothenburg. Bertil Kristiansson. He died at 80 years old in 2017. And he was the president of a very local small club in Gothenburg called Västra Frölunda, known for just youth talent, for producing young players who were locally in the western part of the city. But Bertil is honorary Italian because he was like the most batshit Italian football president you could imagine. He insisted that he would be the speaker at every single home game, meaning reading up the who scored. And one of the things he did was when he wasn't happy with the coach doing something, he would say on the this is like professional, like the highest level, right? He would put on the PA system and say, Frölunda is considering making a substitution and taking number 9 off for number 10, for number 15 or whatever.
No way.
He
Light a fire under the team.
Coach. He would. My favorite. I mean, there's so many stories of him.
Just mind games, trying to mentally dominate guys.
His own team. Trying to mentally
coach.
dominate his own
telling
team.
the coach what to do.
His coach, yeah.
So we agree that honorary Italians just means like just insane.
No, but insane football
that
and
would've
culture,
fit
because
right
I can
football,
imagine
right?
Italian.
Yeah.
So then another thing he did was when he went up to one of the defenders at halftime, Filip Apelstad, and he tells him at halftime, Bertil decided it's a really good idea to go and tell one of the defenders that mistake you made up that corner was the worst defensive error in the club's 95-year-old history, and then just walks out of the room. That's not even. That's
like when you're playing Football Manager and you press bash player at halftime.
Exactly.
My
There's no way you
favorite
can
thing
verify
he
that,
did, though.
too. What's the guy gonna say? He has no case.
My favorite thing he did, though, it's genuinely crazy. So in the mid '90s, there was this thing where Swedish TV, when they were playing in the highest level of Swedish TV, Swedish league, and they used to have this thing where the TV company that owned the rights would give bonuses. Like it's the same thing now for if the more like attendance you had, right? Frölunda is just a local team and they don't really have that many supporters, but he had a brilliant idea on how to bring up for one TV game to bring up the attendance. And it included, because in Gothenburg there's this like amusement park called Liseberg, and their mascot is a green bunny rabbit, right? And so he decided to, he said they marketed against kids, and they said that the Liseberg bunny was gonna come. And what he wanted to do was that he wanted the match ball to be delivered by the Liseberg Bunny, but the Liseberg Bunny was going to land in the middle of the pitch with a helicopter. Okay, so a helicopter lands. Okay, a helicopter lands in the middle of the pitch before game starts.
Mancavano solo I pyrotechnics.
The helicopter lands in the middle of the pitch before the game. The guy, the Liseberg Bunny comes out. And the guy
Just the weird tunnel that it must have created in the stadium. The weird kids hanging on the poles, hanging horizontally.
Listen, it gets weirder than that. So the helicopter lands in the middle of the pitch, and the Liseberg Bunny steps out. The guy with the suit on, and the guy takes off the head of the bunny's head and pukes. Drops a giant pizza right on the middle of the pitch. And while all of this madness is going on, a journalist clocks Bertil saying pointing at the helicopter and saying, "This is like when all this is going on, everyone's going crazy, right?" The journalist clocks him. He he points at the helicopter and goes, "You can get to Spain in 1.5 hours in one of those things." Like, what? That's his comment. That's his reaction to this everything going on. He points at the helicopter and says, "You can get to Spain in 1.5 hours in one of those things." Like, what?
This might be one of the most incredible, like, artistic
This guy was.
He's
I
Kramer.
don't know what.
He's Kramer. He's
Yeah,
Kramer.
it's Bertil Kristiansson is he's an absolute legend. I mean,
It could be a Hollywood scriptwriter.
there has to we're trying to get him to there needs to be a statue of him because he did so much good too, but he was absolute.
Book written on him or something. Nima, you're knocking this out of the park.
Yeah, it's so good. But he's the second defender, but he's incredibly funny. Like he is.
Okay, Nick. Okay. Oh my God. Okay, Nick, do you have someone in mind here? If not, I have one we can go to.
Go for it.
Do you have someone though?
No, not for no.
You don't have anyone that you want to get to at any point here?
No.
Okay.
That man was my.
So I'm gonna remind you of this guy. Okay. I'm gonna remind you who this guy is. It's gonna be a name. Actually, I know you're definitely. I mean, Nima won't know who this is. The listeners definitely won't know who it is. But you'll probably almost certainly remember this guy. Okay, and I'll defend the case in a sec. Starting at defense for us. Is this our third or fourth guy? I think we throwing Drogovsky in. Let's put us out of our misery. Let's leave Drogovsky.
Sure, whatever. Fine.
Okay, fine. Because number 69, because he's a lad. Sure. Okay, so starting in defense, our fourth player is the one and only John Limniatis. John Limniatis. And now I'm thinking of this because you mentioned a local legend of yours, so I'll come back with a local legend of ours. John Limniatis was the coach of the Montreal Impact for a number of years in the late 2000s, early 2010s when they were in the second division in North American soccer.
The USL.
He played for the club, and he's from Park Extension, this like Greek neighborhood. I think he was born in Greece, came here as a kid, was a very good player, played professionally here and in Greece, played for the Canadian men's national team, then went into coaching. After getting canned by the club, he still occasionally gets trotted out as at legends dinners and stuff.
He's on the radio too, right?
Yeah, he was on the radio for a while, but he also took over as technical director of Lakeshore Soccer, where you and I played growing up.
Yeah.
Now, John Limniatis is a Greek man. Now, again, so this isn't that crazy. I mean, as he'll tell you, one face, one race, right? I mean, so he probably considers himself half Italian anyway. But, I mean, some of the stories that this guy would tell. I mean, this guy was a fucking cartoon character. So he actually coached the senior team at Lakeshore. And I remember I was part of their, training camp one winter, and I didn't wind up playing with them. But in that one period of, 3-4 months, he was insane. At the end of every practice, we would all just gather around the circle. He'd yell at us about tactics and how you got to be fit, this and that. But then he would kind of pivot. We would all be able to egg him on a little bit and be like, "Hey, John, tell us about this new broad or whatever." Now he had, I think he had a new wife. He was 52 years old at the time, and he started dating this 32-year-old Greek woman, and he was insane. He was like, "Bro, she's so Greek. I found her in Greece on the islands, bro. She's so Greek, she doesn't even have a passport, bro. She doesn't even have a passport." And he'd be like, "Oh, bro, she fucks like an animal. This Greek woman, oh, she's so good." And all he would do is just talk about how Greek she is. And I mean, it's not. I don't know. It just feels like something that.
Yeah.
It feels like something that you might like. I would have liked to have seen him in Italian football because he was a very he was kind of like a sexual deviant in a lot of ways, and I think that's an interesting style of motivation that might have gone down pretty well in some Italian third-tier dressing room somewhere. He could have, he may as well have been Italian. He could have been. In that sense, I'm saying he's an honorary Italian. He was just like this local coach who's who he's 30 years older than half the, almost everyone on the team. He's talking to these 19, 20-year-old guys about how he fucks his wife like a savage, and it's incredible. Her tits are so like goats.
This guy's like a public figure in the city, huh? You're really just dragging him on.
I don't give a fuck. I don't give a shit.
Okay.
Who cares? Who fucking cares?
Okay.
You know, send it to him. It's what his stuff he said. He doesn't even barely probably remembers me. Whatever. It's what it is. Listen.
Okay. Good pick. Good pick. Good pick.
So
Off the board.
in
You
midfield.
preferred if I said Mike Burns? you give it some local fucking. Some other local coach. I mean, listen, it's hyper local, but he did coach at a professional level. He played football in Europe. I think you'd have fit right into Italian football. I would have loved to have seen him, because he would have because he reminded me of Rocco Siffredi almost, the way he would talk about sex. Like he would just grit his teeth. I fuck this she's so Greek. I don't know. That was like the only takeaway I had. Like I just have vivid memories of him saying, "You gotta be fit." And this my wife, she's so Greek. That's all I remember.
Speaking of Greek,
Noted.
I've got one. My next guy is Greek. He's my midfielder.
Ooh.
It's Ivan Savidis. He's the president of PAOK Saloniki. To Saloniki.
I know this guy. I know this guy.
I mean,
I know this
this
guy.
is the guy who comes. They have in 2018 a goal chalked off for offside, and he enters the pitch with a gun in a holster, like a pistol in a holster.
Yeah, and the picture that I remember seeing is he made sure to push his blazer, his sport coat, his shirt, whatever it was, to show that holster to the referees.
Yeah, it was like in The Godfather. Remember when Michael's outside guarding Vito in the hospital, and he tells the cannoli maker who came to the baker who Vito like got over to America. He just came to bake him like a cake or something. He goes, "Put your hand in your pocket like you got a gun." It's like what he was doing.
My favorite part.
Trying to
My
show it.
favorite part in all of this is his excuse. When his reaction, he claimed, was because of widespread negative situations in Greek football, and that there was, what was it? And he said that there were many people on both sides, whatever the fuck that means.
Donald Trump.
And then he said, my only aim was to protect tens of thousands of PAOK fans from provocation, riots, and human casualties.
Second Amendment, man.
What a hero!
Second Amendment.
What a hero! Thank you for your
on,
service.
Good people on both sides, but all I know is I needed to defend my territory, defend my people, defend my family.
Obviously, I didn't threaten anybody, but unfortunately, my family and I, as well as my colleagues, have been taken hostage by a totally sick football status quo. Like you entered the pitch with a pistol. I mean,
that guy just
enable.
pulled the biggest mental gymnastics to make himself the victim in that situation,
amazing,
didn't he?
it's
quite incredible. Quite
it
incredible.
really is. No, so for me,
I believe that I believe they actually like shut down the Greek Super League that weekend. Like they just stopped all games.
Yeah, I think they decided to have a Grand Duke position, and they're like, how the fuck did we let a gun into the stadium? They're like, that's it. Like they just had to come to Jesus moment. They had to come to Jesus moment where they were like, this could never happen again, right? Like how do we even have an infrastructure that allowed for this to happen in the first place? This is insane. We need to take a good hard.
That's a great.
Dude, imagine getting Greek football to take a hard look in the mirror.
Or just Greece in general.
You gotta do some serious. Yeah, it's insane. You know.
no, the
Nima, go for your last one because we
oh yeah.
we double. I don't know. We doubled.
The
up
last
at
one.
point.
The last one.
Take
The
us
last
home.
one is my striker, and there can only be one. There can only be one, and that is Maurito Icardi. That is like everything about him is just.
Oh God, yes.
It's just he's. I'm sorry, it's just got to be Maurito. It's just got to be Maurito. Everything from Wanda to Maxi to
sexual deviant,
to the lunacy of, going after his woman, to the drama he created with Keita Valdez for no reason and his girlfriend, and I mean Maurito is. Yeah, if we're talking like crazy.
Can we get a tabloid update on him and Wanda? Like
who knows?
Where's it at right now?
Who knows?
On the rocks?
They're still playing social. They're still they were going strong, but they're still playing
tag?
social media games with each other.
God damn.
She's brunette now, so I don't know. Maybe that'll probably That's enough to kind of keep things interesting for another 6 months. We'll see where we're. It's like they need a quarterly update every couple of months. They need.
You think maybe they're behind the
have a sit
scenes, like
down.
on the drawing board, like what do we got to do next to stay
No,
relevant?
it's like it
man.
really is batch.
It's literally that.
What do we have to do? What do we have to do to publicly humiliate each other enough to just get that extra little bit of, press push?
Social credit.
That's a good one. I mean, it's one of the guys I floated with Nick yesterday. It's hard not to agree with that one.
It's a very
Do you have anyone you want to take us home with, dude? I have one in mind. It's a bit of an inclusive one.
No, go for it.
Sure.
Yeah.
You really don't like this segment.
No, it's not that. I didn't have as many. I didn't have as many off the top. of my head.
Throw one out there. Let's kind of debate it.
Sam,
loudly.
I do not have. That's why
Okay.
I'm passing the buck to you.
I'm going with this is the this is the inclusivity pick. All right. What do you call that? This is the affirmative action pick. I'm going with a woman. We're going with Belen Rodriguez. Belen Rodriguez. She is.
I don't know what this is.
You don't know who Belen Rodriguez is?
Maybe? I don't know.
Oh my God. She's dated did she date Marco Borgello at one point, or was it Christian Vieri, or both?
Or both.
She's Argentinian, and again, I feel really dumb doing this with Argentinian people because it's a really short reach. But I mean, she's one of the biggest sex icons in Italy over the last 10 years, probably 10, 20 years. Did she date Valentino Rossi too?
I do not know who this is.
I think she dated a MotoGP guy at one point also. I don't know. But she's kind of like the cool thing about her is she's more Italian than every other Italian showgirl. Because she's a little bit foreign, she's a little bit exotic, but she's still quite familiar because she's Argentinian. She gets more attention. So she'll get, she'll be on the Maria De Filippi hour or whatever the fuck it's called, right? Remember the blonde woman with the big lips, right? And she'll, because Italian television is very obscene.
Yes, it is.
We have Silvio Berlusconi to thank for that. So she'll go on television. She'll go on state TV, and there will be an audience.
There's always a live audience.
There'll
That's
be a
exactly
live
what I was
audience
gonna say.
and
Right? There's
music,
always a live
and they'll be
audience.
clapping.
Yeah.
And she'll be dancing, sitting
Going into the
down
commercial
with
break.
like a blue background, and she'll just have a low cut top and go. She'll just shimmy.
Tell
no
the listeners
bra
what you're
on.
doing right
There's
now.
a video that went viral of her a couple years ago with like her nipples clearly out, just shimmying, and it's like it's like she gets it more than any other Italian showgirl possibly could. She's like thinking she's playing 4D chess while everyone else is like just I don't know. It's almost like her having like a more limited understanding and proficiency in the Italian language helps her. She speaks quite well now, but I think for a while she didn't. And it was like, I don't even have to like talk to these other bitches. I'm just I'm doing my thing.
Just
She's
gonna
walking
stand
on like men were just, men would fucking lay down their coat for her. So I'm putting her up top. She's tall, long legs. I think she's like she's a model. She's gotta be like 5'11", 5'10". She as a woman, that's like the equivalent to being like 6'4", right? So she's a tall striker. I'll go with her.
Okay.
Any objections?
No.
I don't think so. I don't
No
think so.
objections. No objections.
That rounds us out.
Nima, it's always good to talk to you, man.
It's always a pleasure.
I'm glad you're able to do this. This was an episode marred by technical issues from start to finish, but it's all good. Wouldn't have it any other way. It's good to see you again, man.
Likewise.
I mean, I think this is if anything, this is just this is further confirmation that it would be nice to do it in person. at some point one
Absolutely.
day. Perhaps.
I would love that.
You ever come into the East
Well,
Coast?
that's the thing. When you said you were doing that thing live, I was like thinking, let's do this live sometime.
Yeah, that'd be. Oh my god, that'd be awesome.
It'd be really fun. But I mean, like I think you would have a hard time coming to like Toronto and watching Italian football for more than a week. I think it would really wear on you. It would be romantic, but I think the charm would be
Blows brains out.
would be lost on you after
What
a
you
while.
mean?
Yeah, like dude, like just at the top of the
Like
show.
the
I mean, I
culture?
talked about how you alluded to this show I had on Easter Sunday. I mean, let me use that as an example. Okay, so it's actually on Palm Sunday. I'm doing a competition called The Next Italian Comic.
Oh god, I
So
can
do-
already imagine how cringe.
So
your
do you remember
jokes are gonna be.
so it's in like Hamilton, Ontario.
Oh really? It's out of town.
Yeah, it's in Toronto. I thought it was in Toronto, and I found out it's in Hamilton, Ontario. I mean, like
Hammer,
if you
the
went
Hammer.
the Hammer, yeah, which I refuse to call a city by a name that sounds cool that they want you to call them
The
by.
Hammer.
But I don't know. Like I think you'd spend a weekend in Mississauga, Ontario, like a Toronto suburb, and you'd be like, okay, I've seen everything there is to see.
Yeah.
I've seen everything there is to see. I don't really think I have a whole lot in common. This is going to be, I'm paraphrasing what you would hypothetically say in this case. You're going to say, yeah, I don't know how much I have in common with people that would like to go see a live taping of the next Italian comic. I think it might be lost on you at some point.
I don't think it. Yeah.
I don't know if that would take 2 weeks or 3 or 1. You know, but Montreal's a nice city. I mean,
I would love to. I've gotten to know a lot of people.
You would enjoy visiting, but
I've gotten to know a lot of people.
But I don't know that you'd want to go to the neighborhoods where they habitate.
You mean like Woodbridge? Because I've heard of this magical place called Woodbridge in Toronto.
Yes.
I think I have to visit
Woodbridge,
Woodbridge at this point,
exactly
because I've heard so much about it.
Like a pilgrimage.
Yeah, exactly. It would be a pilgrimage. I think I have to see it.
It's basically Potenza Basilicata is basically what it is. Like it's like that same type of person.
I think I have to see it at this point.
These aren't people from the sexy parts of Italy. It's people from Molise. It's people from like Le Marche. People from you know Abruzzo.
But the thing that I think is
know.
really cool about what I've read about Woodbridge is that it's one of the few places outside of Italy that still has a little Italy vibe to it. I think every place people move around and it's not the same anymore. But I know that I think Boston still has it to some extent, but Woodbridge definitely still has a lot of that, from what I've read. But so I think I would love to visit it just because of that.
Dude, there's people.
Sam,
in the
honestly,
Italian-
I was gonna say you should clip the last 30 seconds and put it on TikTok, and the Toronto Italians, if you want to call them that, are gonna come for your
I don't
ass.
know what else you'd call them. Yeah, maybe I should. I don't know. We'll see.
The Toronto Italians.
If it's shareable.
Toronto Italians.
Yeah, the wrath of the rat. Just gonna tear them to shreds before I perform in front of a legion.
That's
of them.
smart.
Yeah. No, I mean,
That's smart.
no, I'm having a hell of a time
It's
I'm
a
having a hell of a
bold
time workshopping material for this show because it's got to be Italian stereotypes.
It's
only,
gonna be
it's
like,
gotta be clean, and I will not
Ever
do
leave
Italian
your
stereotypes.
nonna's house and you just want to fall asleep?
So I mean,
It's a cringe comedy.
yeah, like I'm not doing that material. I've got to somehow make it like smart, and it's gonna be
I'm
be
sure you'll be
viewable
fine.
online
I just
when
hope it's
watch it, a
taped so I
stream
can
of
see it.
It will be taped, yeah. No, so that'll be fun.
And please don't insult.
But no, I mean, like, dude, like,
Don't insult people. Like, don't say shit that it's. You said it was gonna be like family. You're not allowed to like. Isn't that what it is? Like.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how
Yeah,
that's gonna
and-
turn out.
No,
Yeah, they
there's
might,
some,
they
well,
might
I'm
pull
not
out,
gonna
they might
change-
pull out the
there's-
cane and
There's
grab you by
some
the
jokes that, like, I have one joke I want to try doing about, like, an Italian grandfather getting pegged by, like, getting pegged by a nonna. Like, I just think it would be a funny, like, audio sensory experience. Madonna Gesù Cristo, Salvador, che stai facendo? You know, like, the shit you make me do. Like, I'm not gonna do that, but there's some thoughts I've had.
You should end it with that.
That's the closer. Yeah, just go out in flames.
There's gonna be Nonni on the ground, passed out and conscious.
Oh, dear.
Yeah, it's like you ever hear of Tom Segura, the Winnipeg bombing? he like, I think he was talking about like dogs, and apparently he was talking about dogs dying or something, and apparently there was like a whole like 2 tables at this charity event that were like members of like the local SPCA, and they started booing him, and he just leaned into it, and he was like, "Well, I'm gonna double down on this," you know. I'll just do that. No, I don't know. We'll see. If ever in doubt, I just gotta like make a religious reference and just say, "Make some noise for Jesus," and get like a rousing applause, you know. All right, let's go. I'm getting my feedback.
Jesus will save you.
No, I don't know. I have a few things I think might work that I've been trying to work out, but a couple of them are like sexual-ish, and I'm gonna have to like just change the wording. We'll see. It'll be fun. But no, like there are Italian neighborhoods like that in Montreal too. Like there's one Italian neighborhood, man, like in the east end of Montreal, where it's like people don't trust the government. People don't trust anyone except people from the hood. It's insane. And they're like kids. They're like 17. It's like I'm going back to fucking Caserta or something. It's like, you know, you talk to like 16-year-old Italian kids, and they're all like, they all just echo their parents.
Yeah.
Like, they echo the sentiment of their
of
parents.
course.
They're all just like, non si può, you know, io non mi fido nessuno. Non mi fido nessuno. Nessuno. It's like 15-year-olds don't talk like this. You're imitating someone,
of
you know.
course.
It's a lot of that. You know, it'd be a
No, but I would
fascinating
love to.
experience,
Like Canada's big,
socio-culturally.
yeah, and also Montreal as well, because I know Steve and Vinny as well as you guys, and it would be really cool. It would be really cool to visit Canada.
I mean, I don't know if it'd be worth it. I don't know if you'd not lose money doing this because of the astronomical cost it would take to come.
No,
over
but
here
it
and
would
put
be
up
like,
here. Granted, I think there are people that would be happy to put you
No.
up. Not that you would want to mooch, and I know you wouldn't. It's uncomfortable. I can't even stay with family. I get it, but like you could do a live show here with Carlo. I mean, it would be crazy, but you could hypothetically do. Have you ever met him in
yeah,
person?
Carlo, I do. I
Surely
have.
you've been to London.
No, I met him. I met him at the what the fuck is that event called? It was called the Football Blogging Awards. It was called, and we were nominated, and he was there.
The illustrious Football Blogging Awards.
It was
okay.
it was at Old
right.
Trafford.
Where all the big dogs go to play.
Yeah, it was in Manchester, and he was there, and lots of people were there, and we met, and we knew each other before, of course, but that was fun because we.
Must be so weird to meet
someone. But we really hit
like,
it off. We had the same
internet.
humor, and we really hit it off.
That's one thing I'll agree with is that you guys have a very similar sense of humor. I mean, it comes through on the podcast. I encourage anyone who doesn't already listen to it, who's listening to this pod, to definitely do so. Italian Football Podcast. It's on YouTube. I'm gonna make a point of putting that in the description.
I mean, if they want to listen to the
pod,
pod,
I have a live show in a month. So
if they want to listen to the pod,
and you guys are on Patreon,
Spotify or the Monday. Every Monday it's a free show on Spotify, Google Podcast, iOS, and if you want everything, because we do a Thursday show as well, and a Q&A show for the patrons. It's on patreon.com/TFP. But check us out first on the Spotify, the Monday show, where we review the craziness of the last weekend. As Carlo always said,
Italian Football Podcast.
As Carlo always said, there's never we will never ever struggle for talking points when you cover the Serie A and Italian football. Like, you will never ever.
That's a fact.
Struggle for things to talk about.
And before we wrap, Nick, I want you to concur. I didn't put him up to this, Nima. Can you confirm that I probably frauded more than anyone else on planet Earth? I'll have issues with credit cards, or like just someone will fucking log into my bank account and I got to file a police report and it's
quite often, yeah.
Like seek out vendetta, because it's happened like 3 times in the last year that my Patreon membership has gotten canceled, and Nima's had to say, "Hey, you good, bro?" And I was like, "Oh fuck, it got canceled. Yes, sorry, my credit card."
Well, I mean, that was the last.
Wasn't the latest one like 3 weeks ago or something, or like a month ago?
Christmas.
Yeah.
The last one was at Christmas.
Wasn't it when you were in
Naples? That was
Naples?
a checking account though. Yeah.
Checking account.
Yeah, that was in
the Naples fun was the Naples thing was like when you were like that really made me laugh, because you were like, it's so stereotypical that I can't even the person had used your credit card to, what was it, they can, what was it, they had eaten, I don't remember, you said something about.
No, so I'll tell you this now, because there's no shame in lying to you. But what I actually did when I tweeted that out was I was tweeting out an alibi, because there was a bank investigation going on. Basically, what happened was we totaled a Vespa because I didn't know how to ride it, and I was wearing flip flops, and I tipped it over in Positano. Luckily, I ate the brunt of it. And this story's getting a little old, because I always talk about how I had to see a dermatologist about my fucking skin, bro. I tore my knee up. But it's not that deep. But we did tear up a Vespa, legitimately. I've told a few people this on the pod in recent months. And I totaled it, and I took it back to them a few days later and was like, "Hey, yeah, I don't know what happened." But I was like, "Listen, there's no insurance." So I was like, "I don't know what the fuck just happened." So what I did was I parked it in a spot where I know there were no security cameras, and I checked. They have them all over the Amalfi
swear
Coast.
to God.
Like, literally all along that highway. So there was one little blind spot that I found and was like, "Yeah, that's where I parked it, right next to our hotel." Took it back to the rental place a day early and was like, "Yeah, man, I don't know what happened. I gotta return this to you guys tomorrow morning, but this just happened live in real time. I don't know what the fuck happened." This had actually happened 2 days before. Literally the day we got the fucking Vespa. Totaled it. 2 days I rode it, running to go get groceries on this fucking totaled Vespa. So I'm like, here's my plan. The day before I have to return it, I'm gonna bring it in and say, "This just happened now." And I'm like, when I knew we wouldn't need it anymore, really, like right up to the last second, like the night before we had to return it, I brought it back and was like, I think someone just hit it. I think it might have been a bus or something. I have no idea. But I came back and it had rained. So I was like, maybe the roads are a little slippery. I fucking came back to, drive off to go run an errand, and it was tipped over. I don't know what the hell happened. So I'm telling the rental guys this, and by the way, they're lovely. I mean, the guy's very nice. He's telling me basically, "All right, well, do you have any idea where it happened?" I said, "Yes." He said, "Okay, well, maybe we could check the cameras." And I'm like, "I don't know if there are any cameras. I fucking, I checked. It doesn't appear there are any cameras. It might have been a blind spot." And they're like, "Okay, well, do you have a license plate number?" And I'm like, "No, I don't have a license plate number of the car that hit it." I went up to my room, came down, and it was tipped over. They're like, "Okay, well, if you had a license plate number, then you could give it to us right now and we'll file a police report." Basically, if I had just gone to them and said, I literally could have just pulled a random plate number from my ass and said, "Here, go," But I'm a good person. I didn't do that because I didn't know.
Yeah, I'm a good person.
I'm a
not
good
trying
person.
To fraud a rental
After
Vespa
all of that, I'm a good person.
So hang on. Hang on. No, so hang on. So I said to them, no, I don't have a plate number. They're like, okay, well, in that case, you're liable. I was like, you don't have insurance here? They're like, no. Now, I argued with them for a while, all the while trying to be lovely. I'm trying to be very, like, agreeable. And the guy who's talking to me is a young man, like, from this little town. Like, this isn't, like, Naples. This is right outside of Naples. But it's, like, in a little fucking town called Braiano, like, on the coast. I mean, there's, like, a few thousand people there that live there in the winter. It's a very, everyone knows everyone. Like, he's a good, buono come un pezzo di pane, this guy is. Like, he's a fucking really good salt-of-the-earth guy. And I'm making him laugh. And he likes me. But I'm also kind of, like, telling him, hey, man, like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, listen, I'm not lying to you. I wouldn't lie to you. What the fuck? Like, I'm just telling you what happened. I don't know what more I could do. Basically, what it comes down to is they have my credit card on file already. And I'm like, listen, just charge it. I got a sign to say I'm okay with you guys charging my credit card. And they did. They charged it. It was like $4,000 to get the fucking like thing repaired. They quoted me and they were like, we got to take it to the guy next door. They convinced me. They're offering me a deal. And I'm like, there's no way I'm paying $4,000 out of pocket when this is something that should be covered by an insurance company. This is just, it's how it works. I'm literally insured as a driver. So I could have claimed it on my insurance. My premium would have gone up. So what I instead did was I just called my credit card company, said, I don't know what the hell happened, but somebody just charged me. Somebody gave me for like 3,000 euros. And I was in Naples the other day. You know, Naples is a terrible city. I don't know if you're aware, but I'm Italian. I can say this. I mean, if I could say I'm Napoletan. I'm not Napoletan, but I said I'm Napoletan. So, I mean, what's the these people are, I mean, we're like the worst people on earth. I mean, I was on a train. I think I lost my credit card. So I've been seeing charges over the last few days. Someone went to a beach club. Me. Someone went to do groceries. Someone went and bought fucking like sandals. Also me. And it culminated in this 3,000 euro transaction. And I mean, yeah, basically, I'm like, I don't know what the fuck happened. I haven't had any service here. I'm finally getting through to you guys. Please look into this. I'm horrified. And I tweeted out. So I did legitimately cancel my credit card. But then I was like, I'm going to tweet about this so I'll have an alibi. So it'll look like.
Jesus Christ.
Like if in case they do a deep dive, right?
Ridiculous.
Yeah. But so what happened was they refunded me. And they can't retroactively punish me. And it's not a police matter. It's a private matter between like me and the credit card company. They refunded me. That's it. So it's over. But at the time,
it's credit card.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
Whatever.
No,
never mind. Whatever. We'll leave it at that.
It's
It was a
not.
private matter between you and the credit card company.
But here's the thing.
That's how it works.
But here's the thing.
That's how it works.
But this is a podcast, and I tell lies constantly on this podcast. And this whole thing is satire. Everything I've said is satirical on this podcast.
I forgot. You're right. I forgot.
I don't think Luciano Moggi was right to say that
This was all
about
said in
Jakob
parody.
Yankto. Everything I say is satirical on this podcast.
You're right. Yeah.
I'm not in a court of law. I didn't put my hand on a Bible. This didn't happen. I lie constantly.
I swear to God, Sam, you're too much.
So, but that's what happened. So no, but legitimate. But like I did have to cancel my credit card. That time. So my $4 a month couldn't go through to listen to the Italian podcast for 2 months. It's like, oh, they've been really quiet lately. What's going on?
Oh Jesus, you kill me, man. You kill me.
I don't care. Listen.
You're fine.
They got to do better research. Yeah, no, I listen. I become a pro at winning. And the thing is, I didn't want to, because I was like a week into my vacation. I didn't want to have this monkey on my back for 2 weeks saying, I'll file an insurance claim when I get back. I'm like, no, I got to fucking attack it from all angles. Credit card company first. Boom. So I say something about this whole Fiji investigation into Juve, and we'll end on this. I'll let you get to bed. This is getting preposterous now. Preposterously long. But I said when the Fiji penalized Juve and deducted them 15 points because of, an apparent infringement of rules that wasn't really that written cut and dry. I was like, well, make better rules. Make better rules. What are you doing? You're going to go after people for fucking taking advantage of the rules as they're technically written? Make better rules. The credit card company's got to do better. Yeah, listen. They got to do better due diligence. They got like Mama Luke's on ketamine answering the phone. I'm sorry, but like, I don't take from people ever. Nick and I have talked about this before. Scum of the earth. Institutions. I mean, listen. They got to do a better job. They got to cover their ass.
I swear to God.
It doesn't really help when they
Wake up, Visa.
No, wake the fuck up, man. Because you're getting had, but you're not, because this is all
Of course
satire.
it is.
But again, like,
You're the best, Sam.
But that's
You kill me. I swear to God, you
it's-
you fucking kill me, man. Nick, it was
Thanks for joining
was
us,
always
Nima.
a pleasure, and good to hear from you again, Nick. I haven't seen you in a while. And talk to you in a while.
Yeah, likewise. I haven't been as active on social media recently. It's been a while we've done a pod, but
Because you're an adult.
no, that's not why. It's just I don't know, life things. But yeah, great to see you, Nima. It's always a blast. Love having a
Always,
chat.
always happy to come on anytime soon.
Get to bed,
I
sir.
will.
All right. Listeners, get at us on all platforms. It's at Calcio Podcast for the time being. That is still what we are technically at. If you're listening to this at the time of recording, it is at Calcio Podcast. Nima is at Nima Tavrod on
Twitter.
Twitter, and I believe it's the
We're
same
gonna
on
add the
Instagram
handles.
as
We'll
well. I
add the
mean, in
handles.
Twitter's really your bread and butter. So that's
Yeah, but my Instagram
you know,
is more like private
tag you in the
stuff,
bio,
yeah.
but it's
I don't know.
yeah. So anyway, you'll be. I'm not sure if we'll put it in the bio too. But yeah, Nima Tavrod, Rood. Subscribe to the Italian
Thank
Football Podcast. Subscribe to this channel if you're new. If you made it through like 2 fucking plus hours of this Montreal, subscribe. Everyone helps. Comment. Do what you got to do. Like
And next
it,
time I'm on
Algo
here, and next
shit.
time I'm on here,
I
make sure
think it helps
Dilo's
us.
here, so we don't have to. So we don't.
Yeah,
we need
yeah,
him. We need him.
yeah.
Get well soon.
Yeah, I apologize on behalf of his knee. Yes,
Get
sir.
well soon.
Okay. God bless all the best listeners. Thank you for tuning in. We'll catch you next time. Alla prossima. Ciao. Thanks,
Oh,
man. This was
that was
this
awesome.
Was cool.
Yeah, it
That
was
was great.
always
That was
a
great.
pleasure.
Late, but this
The
is-
recording's still going on.
It's really late for you, man. What time is it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I gotta go to bed.
My God, it's 3
I gotta go to bed.
Yeah.
Listen,
You're a monster.
yeah, no, it's always a pleasure. It's always a pleasure.